Like 96.5 The Fan.
Right side throw, touchdown! Kansas City! A 3-yard touchdown pass in overtime! Kansas City wins the game!
Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's C-Dot.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited to be here with you on this wonderful Thursday. College football is in town coming up in about 15 minutes. We are going to head to, are we heading to Lincoln, Nebraska, or are we heading to Arrowhead Stadium? I don't know where we are headed, but we are going to have a Nebraska guest join us on the show. They are in town later today taking on the Cincinnati Bearcats. Rob, have we ever been to Lincoln, Nebraska before? I'm just trying to think of a time that you and I have ever headed to Lincoln, Nebraska before. I don't think we've ever had a reason to have a Nebraska guest on the show. We are very happy to have on Sean Callahan, who covers the Nebraska Cornhuskers. He's been covering them for quite some time, but I don't think we've ever had a reason to go out to Lincoln, Nebraska.
Did we have him on when they signed Raiola? That would be the only other time I can think of that, because getting Raiola was a huge deal. But other than that, I don't know we've ever had a Cornhusker on the show.
So coming up in just a little bit, we're going to head to Nebraska to catch up with Sean Callahan, who covers the Nebraska Cornhuskers. We are exactly 1 week away from the start of the NFL season, and Micah Parsons is still nowhere to be found for the Dallas Cowboys. We'll get into that. We got a lot of things to get into in today's show. Before we do any of that, I need to remind you guys of a couple of things. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock. Right here on 96.5 The Fan. Number two, I need you guys to tell one friend to check out the show. I mean, it'd be great if you could tell two people to check out the show, but you know what? If you could just tell one friend to check out the show, I would greatly appreciate it. And number three, I need you to remember that the show Open is brought to you by our friends over at The Other Place with 5 locations around town. You can stop in, grab yourself a bite to eat, grab yourself something to drink. Maybe you catch the Nebraska game coming up later today. Missouri also plays later today as well. We got a great slate of college football this weekend. So if you're looking for a place to grab a bite, also catch the game, the perfect place to do that is with our friends over at The Other Place. All right, let's split the lead up just a little bit as we are getting into the show today. Number one, we have to tip our ball cap to the Kansas City Royals. We talked a lot about this yesterday. The Royals, they had their back up against the wall. In the second game of this series against the Chicago White Sox, the Royals were down 4-0 heading into the 8th inning, and things looked absolutely bleak. The Royals pushed themselves up. They win yesterday's game. They had another must-win game against the Chicago White Sox, and boy, did they put a hurting on the Chicago White Sox. The Royals, over the last 3 days, did exactly what they needed to do. The Royals, I don't know if you can expect a sweep. It certainly would be great if you sweep the Chicago White Sox. They didn't, and I didn't want to move on too quickly after that first game. It all counts as one loss in the record books the same. But what the Royals couldn't do is afford to drop a series to the Chicago White Sox, especially with the stakes this high. That did not happen. The Royals took care of business. The Royals did what they were supposed to do. They now sit 3 games back of the Seattle Mariners. So let's just all breathe easy. The Royals did exactly as they were supposed to, taking care of business against the Chicago White Sox. They take 2 out of 3, and now we look ahead to their series coming up against the Detroit Tigers. We'll get you a random lineup coming up in a bit. Just because it's football season doesn't mean that we break tradition. So we'll get you guys a random lineup coming up in just a bit. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about Nebraska. We'll also talk some college football here coming up in a bit. Today feels like we have another unofficial start of the college football season. We already had one with week 0. We now have another unofficial start of the college football season, as there is, I believe, 16 games coming up later today. And then Saturday is a marquee heavyweight college football slate. We'll get to that as the week winds down. But thinking of today, I was thinking this as I was walking in, and Rob told me that it is expected that Nebraska is going to have 65,000 people who make the drive down from Lincoln to be at today's game. I'm going to say that again because that is an insane number of people to travel for a college football game. Rob told me today that it is expected that Nebraska is going to have 65,000 fans in attendance at later today's game. Now, it is not a long drive from Lincoln to Kansas City. In fact, I actually made that drive earlier this summer. I had never been to Lincoln before, so I was kind of curious to see the stadium and look around and just feel a little bit of the vibe. I mean, it wasn't a game day vibe, but it was a vibe nonetheless. 65,000 is a tremendous number, and it really got me thinking. I understand that Missouri is no longer in the conference. I also understand that the Big 12 is not the Big 12 that you and I grew up with. You know, back 20 years ago, there was a Big 12 North and a Big 12 South. And I don't think we maybe realized it at the time, but the Big 12 North, it was a community. All of those schools were very drivable. From Missouri to Kansas to K-State to Iowa State to Nebraska to Colorado, if you wanted to make that trip out there, it was easy to make a decision that if you wanted to get in your car and head to a road game, you had the ability to do it. We didn't realize how special, we didn't realize how much of a bond that we had when it was the old Big 8 or it was the Big 12 North. And you know what? Seeing Nebraska come back into town, feeling the excitement from Nebraska coming back into town, it reminded me of one thing. Regardless of what changes happen in the sport, regardless of what happens with the Big 12 and how many teams or what teams are in it, this is not the Big 12 that you and I grew up with. Arizona is in the conference. Arizona State is in the conference. Can you imagine if we could time travel and we go back 20, 25 years and I told you that West Virginia and Arizona State would be in the Big 12? You would have laughed at me. You would have called me crazy. That is what we currently have. Can you imagine if I had told you that Nebraska was going to play a game at Arrowhead and they were not the team in the Big 12 and that Cincinnati was the team in the Big 12? Again, you also would have told me I was crazy. You would have told me that I had a hot take. No, that is what we have developed into in college football. I just want to point out that no matter what happens, no matter what changes, Kansas City will always be a Big 8 town. We love the Big 12, but it was a little bit different. It was a little bit different. The one thing I know is Kansas City loves the old Big 8. Talk to anybody. Talk to our uncles. Talk to our grandfathers, the people that went to the Big 8 tournament back when it was at Kemper Arena. There is a deep pride for college sports where we live. There is also a deep pride for the conference that we all grew up in. Now, we love the Big 12, but it's different now. But Kansas City is a Big 8 city. It is also a Big 12 North. And Nebraska will always be able to come to Kansas City and draw a crowd like they are today. Iowa State is always going to be able to come down here and be able to draw a crowd. Obviously, Kansas and K-State, Missouri, they play basketball games here this year. Kansas City is just a hub for that conference, and it is a hold that it has on us that I don't think we will ever let go. So I'm excited to see what the crowd looks like tonight for Nebraska. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are in attendance. I'm actually not sure if this game makes a whole lot of sense if it's not for them. We know that Dylan Raiola, he goes up as Patrick Mahomes. He celebrates that 24/7, 365. He's permanently wearing a Halloween costume. And obviously, Travis Kelce, he is an alum of Cincinnati University. So excited to see those two teams play later today. Rob told me he would go, but it's late. He says he has to be up and early for KU and Wagner tomorrow. Rob's taking the day off so he can get a full day of tailgating for KU Wagner on the football field. So he said, it's a little too late to go. If Nebraska was playing a better opponent, maybe he would have considered going, but they're playing Cincinnati. And he can't let Cincinnati get in the way of a KU Wagner tilt at the new and improved booth. We'll talk more college football coming up in a bit. But, Rob, we still got to stick to our rules. We still got to stick to our bread and butter. We talked about the Royals in the 2 o'clock segment, so that can only mean one thing. Rob, hit me.
We're where you want to be. Baseball with the Royals.
Carrington, today's random Royals lineup takes us back to the year 2012, where on this date the Royals played at home against the Detroit Tigers, getting a win 9-8. Here was your lineup in 2012. Leading off in center field, Gerard Dyson. Batting second, the shortstop, Alcides Escobar. Batting third, the left fielder, Alex Gordon. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, Billy Butler. Batting fifth, behind the plate, Salvador Perez. Batting sixth, at third base, Mike Moustakas. And batting seventh in right field, Jeff Francoeur. Batting eighth, the first baseman, Eric Hosmer.
This ain't a good lineup if Eric Hosmer's hitting eighth.
And batting ninth, at second base, Johnny Giavotella.
You're telling me Hosmer was hitting eighth and Johnny G was hitting ninth? We hadn't figured things out yet. We were still working out some of the kinks, still working out some of the flaws.
By the way, the Royals faced Justin Verlander on this date. He went 5 2/3. The Royals tagged him for 8 runs.
Billy Butler probably had a day. Remember, Billy Butler used to really have success against Justin Verlander.
I'm looking. Billy Butler got intentionally walked on this day, probably because of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Double by Gordon, double by Perez, double by Moustakas. But Luis Mendoza gave up 6 of his own. This one had to go late in the game. Greg Holland got a save as the Royals will beat the Tigers on this date 9-8 in 2012.
Coming up in about 15 minutes, we're going to be joined by Sean Callahan, who covers the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Until then, let's talk a little bit of college football. Rob and I are going to tell you some of the players that we have an eye on heading into the season. Who could take a step forward? Who are some of the players that could factor into the Heisman race? Who are also some of the players that could factor in helping their team get to the college football playoff? We'll talk about that next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, your home for the best food takes in KC.
Regular old American nachos. You know, I don't need jalapenos with mine, just chips, cheese.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend. Oh, my Bob!
Oh, no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
My debit card.
their debit card.
Where'd I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Missouri, get ready! DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State. Later this football season, you'll be able to bet same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more right here in Missouri. Whether you're backing Kansas City to dominate on Sundays or sweating your basketball picks, DraftKings Sportsbook brings everything you want to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. And when we go live in Missouri, you'll be betting from home with the top-rated sportsbook trusted by millions. Safe, secure, and ready to deliver the action like never before. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 965 now to gear up for launch in Missouri. Be the first in line for exclusive promos and can't-miss offers. That's code 965 in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements.
Rally House, shop every team in town. College and pro, come on, it's time to go.
The season starts at Rally House. From jerseys and hats to tumblers for game day, it's where outrageous selection meets every fan's style.
Kansas, Missouri, Kansas State. Chiefs and Royals make KC great.
Rally House, Rally House. It's your city, it's your house, it's the Rally House.
Level up your fandom in-store or online at rallyhouse.com.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired.
scared of the stings that just will never come out.
Oh, down in the rinse cage.
Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob!
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, this is Michael Rosenbaum.
Hey guys, Tom Welling. Look, we both played heroes.
And we both played villains. But in the real life, there are no reshoots, no stuntmen, or sequels.
We all make mistakes. We're all human.
Making one bad decision can not only land you in jail, but can also put yourself and other people around you in serious risk.
Be smart, make a plan, catch a ride, stay put.
Your decision to drink and drive could permanently change someone else's world, whether you injure them or leave their loved ones grieving.
This Labor Day weekend, be your own hero.
Drive sober or get pulled over.
Paid for by NHTSA.
I'm Jordan Robinson, host of the new podcast, The Women's Hoop Show. Each episode, I'll be joined by a rotating group of women's basketball experts to talk WNBA, college hoops, the new Unrivaled League, and the shifting landscape of the sport. The game is growing, and so are we. Listen to and follow The Women's Hoop Show and Odyssey podcast, available now for free on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
All right, Rob, why don't we talk a little college football before Sean Callahan joins us on the show today? I want us to talk about some of the teams that you and I are keeping an eye on. I want to talk about some of the players that you and I are keeping an eye on. Since Nebraska is coming into town, why don't we start the conversation with Nebraska? I think Nebraska has a chance to be pretty good this year. I think that Nebraska has an opportunity to put together one of the best teams that they have in maybe a decade. I really like their head coach. I really like their quarterback. I think the question now for their quarterback is, last year was the kind of feeling out process. He was the third-ranked high school quarterback. You know the other ones. Number one was DJ Lagway in his class. He currently starts at Florida. They're a top 15 team. People think that DJ Lagway could help guide them to a college football playoff, and he could be a Heisman potential candidate kind of player. Julian Sayin was the number 2 player in that class. You also know who he is. He's the starting quarterback this year at Ohio State University. So last year you sat behind Will Howard. You waited your turn. Now it's your turn. We'll see what you look like Saturday night against the Texas Longhorns. Now we go to Dylan Raiola. He started as a true freshman. I thought he played pretty well last season. I think now the question with Dylan Raiola is, at least to me, and I don't mean this as a knock because we're talking about an 18, 19-year-old individual, but I think we can have this conversation about Dylan Raiola. Is he going to be a gimmick, or are we going to talk about him as a player? Because right now, the only way we really talk about Dylan Raiola is that he is cosplaying as an NFL quarterback. We're talking about a guy who has the potential of being really good. If you complete 67% of your passes as a true freshman, you got a chance of being a very, very good player. Now, he made a lot of mistakes last year. He threw 13 touchdown passes, 11 interceptions. Again, we're not talking about a redshirt freshman. We're talking about somebody who was playing high school football the year before, homecoming, all of that, and then stepped in, and now you're going up against Penn State, Oregon, and the big dogs of the Big Ten. So I'm not surprised that he didn't put together a massive season. The expectation now for Dylan Raiola is to take a step forward. Let's see what that looks like this year. If Dylan Raiola takes that step forward, I think we're talking about Nebraska as I don't think they're going to be a team that really competes for an opportunity to make the college football playoff, but I think they can put themselves in the conversation where heading into his junior year, that's the way that we discuss them. So you're looking at some of their important games. They essentially have a home game against Cincinnati. I know it's a neutral site. Cincinnati is not traveling. Nebraska is going to travel for that one. You got Michigan coming up in a couple of weeks. That's a home game. You know that's going to be a sellout crowd. Their road games in the Big Ten, I would say they got off kind of light. Maryland, Minnesota, UCLA. Now, you got to go on the road and play Penn State, but that's late in the season, and you can live with having 1 or 2 losses. I think if everything lines up for Nebraska, I think they can be a team that potentially wins 8 or 9 games this year. A lot of it really depends on Dylan Raiola. And again, I don't mean this as shade towards a 19-year-old, but the only time we talk about Raiola is the similarities in how he looks like Patrick Mahomes. We don't really discuss him as a player. We discuss Lenore Sellers as a player. We discuss DJ Lagway as a player. That's how I want to see if we talk about Dylan Raiola at the end of this season.
They are I don't want to say popular. That's an unfair way to describe it. But they are a trendy college football playoff pick because, Nebraska of yesteryear was a school that I hated, you hated, KU, K-State, Mizzou fans on the text line, you guys all hated. They were the enemy of the Big 12 North. But they've kind of fallen out of the zeitgeist, or at least in Kansas City, for a while. But Matt Rule is a really good coach. Dylan Raiola at least had a ton of buzz as a recruit. He played okay as a true freshman. They had a good portal class, and people think they bring a lot back. And the Big Ten, we know, is going to put multiple teams in the college football playoff. This isn't a one-bid league. So Nebraska is a trendy, dark horse, keep your eye on them type of pick to make the college football playoff. Josh Pate, for those of you that follow college football, you know him. He does things with CBS Sports. He has them as a college football playoff team. I think he has them as the 10 seed in the college football playoff this year. So if Dylan Raiola starts having that type of season, and they're a team that we're talking about being in the college football playoff or competing for the college football playoff down the stretch, similar to how we were last year with other Big Ten teams and where they're going to fight to get in. If that conversation starts emerging and it's late September, October, November, then I think Dylan Raiola's cosplay as Patrick Mahomes stops being a story, and his ability on the field starts being the story in college football, because as much as it's annoying when everyone says, oh, is Texas back? If Nebraska's good this year, the story is Nebraska back? Because they were one time the power in college football.
The team that I really like in the Big Ten this year to kind of have that Indiana slot, I think you have to look at it. Ohio State should make the college football playoff. Penn State should certainly make the college football playoff this year. We'll see how good Oregon is. They have a lot of turnover this season, but I think Dan Lanning's one of the better coaches in college football. Oregon should also be good. There's one additional spot. Last year, the Big Ten got 4 teams in the college football playoff. We'll see if they can get 4 teams in this year. I think that team is Illinois this season. Very good coach, returns a lot of talent from last year, favorable schedule. I'm really big on, if you're a program like Illinois, it is a combination of talent, coaching, and schedule. And if you can get those 3 things to line up, you could win 10 or 11 games and find yourself in the college football playoff. This year, they avoid Michigan, they avoid Penn State, they avoid Oregon in Big Ten play. Now, they do play Ohio State, but they also have that team at home in October. You know they're going to try to put that game under the lights, and that's just a really difficult game for Ohio State to go on the road and potentially win. What are their road games this year? On the road against Indiana, on the road against Purdue, Washington, and Wisconsin. You will take that in Big Ten games if that's what you end up getting. They also play Duke on the road, which would be really difficult in basketball. Not really sure how difficult that's going to be in football this year. I like Illinois. You were telling me that you can get Illinois to make the college football playoff at plus 500. Hey, you know what? I'm taking the Fighting Illini. I think they're going to grab one of those last at-large spots, one of those wild card spots. Give me Illinois to make the college football playoff.
I am currently sitting here with a Illinois. I actually got them on FanDuel Future Day. That was the play. You can get them boosted up. You had the boost where you could jump up any bet by 50%. So I have them at plus 750 right now to make the college football playoff. But they returned basically everyone from a 9-win team last year. They are, if you hate the modern era of college football, if you hate the portal, if you hate the player movement, Illinois is the team for you because they basically bring everyone back. They are basically the same team this year that won 9 games last year with a schedule that is advantageous. So I too am on Illinois. Another off-the-wall team I'm kind of on, and this kind of works with player and team I'm keeping an eye on, South Carolina. Lenoris Sellers is a legitimate Heisman contender. He is not getting Arch hype. He is not getting Cade Klubnik hype. He is not getting Garrett Nussmeier hype. But Lenoris Sellers is really, really good. And South Carolina, quiet as it's kept last year, was 9-3, navigating a difficult schedule. And one of their 3 losses was at the gun in Tuscaloosa. Their schedule, while still difficult in 2025, I don't want to paint South Carolina's schedule like it's Illinois or Indiana. They have a lot of difficult games, including they head to Missouri this year. That's no gimme in of itself. They have Bama still on the schedule. Like they have a difficult schedule. I don't want to make it seem like it's all layups, but if you have the quarterback and you have the coach and you were 9-3 last year, you feel like you can navigate that. And so I think as a dark horse, Tennessee type, because Tennessee made the college football playoff last year, and no one viewed Tennessee as the best team in the SEC. I think South Carolina could be a team to keep an eye on for the playoff, and Lenoris Sellers is a player to keep an eye on for the Heisman as a dark horse, plus 1,600 if you're into that gambling perspective.
Yeah, I kind of feel what you're talking about as the Tennessee kind of team. That's the way I feel about LSU. What really worries me about LSU heading into the season,
because they're such a big brand. I guess that's where it's different.
And what bothers me about LSU is just their schedule this year. I mean, they begin the season on the road again. Like, listen to their road games. Like, I just read you the road games for Illinois. You'll take those road games. The road games this year for LSU are at Clemson, at Ole Miss, at Vanderbilt, at Alabama, and Oklahoma. Like, if those are your road games, that's really difficult. We're not talking about a home game against Florida, South Carolina, and Texas A&M. So just from a schedule standpoint, I think LSU could be a 3-loss team, and we're discussing them in late November as being a team that could make the college football playoff. They just have one of the more difficult schedules of any team in college football. I'm kind of with you. If you're telling me right now, I kind of got to pick. I think between Florida and South Carolina, I think one of those teams is going to make the college football playoff, and that probably better fits that Tennessee model that you're talking about being one of those teams. Let me ask you this, because every year we know how this works. There's a team that is a preseason top 10 ranked opponent that completely falls by the wayside. Last year, that team was Florida State. They were bad for most of the year. Who do you think that team could potentially be this year in the top 10? Who's that team that's ranked really, really high this year? Because it is going to be one of these teams that ends up fading and they're ranked outside the top 25 by the time the dust settles.
My knee jerk is Bama. Because Bama's 9 right now? They're just, or 7 or 9. They're just inside the top 10. They have questions at quarterback. Kalen DeBoer was handled a Ferrari last year and still somehow found a way to hit potholes, including a loss at Oklahoma, which should absolutely never happen in 2024. I think they got a little better this year, but their schedule is always difficult. They have LSU. They have all the games Alabama is used to winning with Nick Saban, and I just have too many questions about quarterback. So I think Alabama can be good, but I think they'll be good the same way they were last year, like 9-3, 10-2 type of good.
Coming up in just a bit, we're going to be joined by Sean Callahan, who covers the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska plays a game coming up later today right here in Kansas City. They're playing Cincinnati. We'll get that for you coming up momentarily. We'll also try to see if Binkley can stop by. I love to talk a little college football with Binkers. I know we had week 0 last week. Today kind of feels like, man, college football is back. We got a complete slate of games coming up later today. We only had 5 games last Saturday. There's 16 games today and obviously a full slate of games this weekend. We'll also talk a little Missouri coming up later today as well. Missouri, they have their season opener. They play Central Arkansas coming up today. Missouri still has no clue who their starting quarterback is. So we'll talk to Brandon Kiley about that coming up in just a bit. We'll also get back to the Royals as well. The Royals did exactly what they were supposed to as they took 2 of 3 against the Chicago White Sox. And now we see what's going to happen this weekend against the Detroit Tigers. Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by our next guest. His name is Sean Callahan. He covers the Nebraska Cornhuskers for Husker Online. Sean, how you doing today, my man?
Hey, I'm doing great, guys. It's great to be back down in Kansas City for Nebraska football. We haven't been down here in 15-plus years, so you're going to see a lot of red and it's not Chiefs red, making the way down here, down to Kansas City.
So let's just start with this because I actually don't know the story to this. How did this game come together? Why is this game being played in Kansas City?
So it's Cincinnati's home game, and they already had 7 home games. So this was going to be kind of like a bonus 8th home game. They did a 2-for-1 deal with Nebraska. One of the games in Lincoln got canceled over COVID. So this is game 2 of this 3-game series. Cincinnati was going to play the game at Lucas Oil. They kind of agreed on that. St. Louis was initially in play because they kind of wanted it to be closer to their fan base, and it was a 2-hour drive. Well, the Arrowhead folks, decided like, hey, we want to do an annual college football game now every year if we can make something like this happen. And they found out what the price tag was that Cincinnati was going to get from Lucas Oil. It was around $2 million-ish. And Arrowhead folks like, we'll double that with incentive. If this thing sells out, it could be $4, $5, $6 million, which it will be. So for Cincinnati, they'll make probably more on this one game here than they would maybe 3 home games back in Cincinnati, possibly 4 home games.
Right now, we're talking to Sean Callahan. He covers the Nebraska Cornhuskers for Husker Online. I don't know if you have the answer to this. Are you expecting Patrick Mahomes to be there? I know that him and Dylan Raiola have some conversation. I would also imagine, I know Travis Kelce's got a lot going on, but, I mean, his alma mater is playing at Arrowhead. Are you guys counting on them being at the game tonight?
Well, the Chiefs' connections to Nebraska run much deeper than that. I mean, you've got Dawson Merritt, whose father is the secondary coach for the Chiefs. Deshaun McCullough's father used to be Andy Reid's running backs coach for the Chiefs. And then Terry Braden was the assistant D-line coach for the Chiefs, and he's on this staff. Then you have Williams Nwaneri, a superstar player out of Kansas City, playing his first game as a Husker here tonight as well. But, yeah, then you have the Dylan Raiola. I mean, he literally trains with the exact same people that Patrick Mahomes trains with, so they keep regular correspondence, is my understanding. Have not heard. I do expect Kelce to be here. Because of the Will Compton Busting with the Boys podcast with Taylor Lewan. The Kelce brothers obviously played at Cincinnati, and they're going to do something with the 2 podcasts. So I do think you'll see a lot of Chiefs players here because of the Terry Braden connection. In fact, when they got here yesterday, Andy Reid greeted the Nebraska team because Matt Rule and Andy Reid are pretty close as well, and kind of welcomed them in the stadium. They did a 4 o'clock walkthrough when they got into town. So it's a cool thing. I mean, you're going to see Arrowhead Stadium full, and not for a Chiefs game. It's going to be, if not a sellout, like 74,000. I mean, I think it's going to be really, really close to a full 76 or whatever the number is, just based on the ticket numbers that we've seen here heading into this game.
I actually cheer for Missouri, so I actually tried to forget the whole Williams Nwaneri thing. So let's just why don't we just go ahead and move past that? Why don't we just focus on something different? Let's talk about Dylan Raiola. We were just talking about this. I thought he had a very, very promising freshman year for a true freshman. Are you expecting a major jump from him this season? Because if he takes a big jump this year, we're talking about a Nebraska team that can win 8-9 games and maybe be in the conversation to go to the playoff.
No doubt. And I think last year what happened was he started out really hot. And then you started to see the adjustments. It really started in the Illinois game, which is a Friday night game in Lincoln. First half, he completely torched Illinois. They adjusted what they did to Nebraska, and they had a hard time at that point. And from that point on, it just didn't click as well in the middle of the season for Dylan Raiola until they made the change. Then Dana Holgorsen was hired in November. He took over play calling and came in and ran the offense for the final month of the year. And you started to see the offense from Nebraska tick back up. And I thought that was a big, big change. And now you have Dana Holgorsen here for an entire offseason. They've upgraded the receivers. They brought in Dane Key. They beat Georgia head-to-head for him out of the portal as one of the more high-dollar receivers added by any team in the portal. He was Kentucky's leading receiver. They added Isaiah Hunter, who was Cal's leading receiver. Cortez Mills was one of the top high school receivers in the country that they took from Oklahoma. He was committed to the Sooners. So they have upgraded the weapons around Dylan Raiola, and they went out and spent about $2.5 million on 2 offensive linemen in the transfer portal that they've brought in on this line. Rocco Spindler as a guard from Notre Dame, and then Elijah Pritchett, the starting right tackle a year ago for Alabama, joined what already is a veteran offensive line. So not only have they improved the coaching around Raiola, they've also improved the weapons and the protection.
Right now, we're talking to Sean Callahan. He is with Husker Online, talking to him for just a couple of more minutes. Sean, going back in time a little bit, do you guys miss being in the Big 8, Big 12, or you guys fully embrace being in the Big 10?
Oh, there's no doubt. There's a lot of things I miss about the Big 12. And, growing up in Nebraska, I mean, a lot of Nebraskans go to Kansas City. It's just a fun place to visit and go to. And I think for a lot of folks, this is, just to come back down here for a football game, it does bring back a lot of Big 8, a lot of Big 12 memories. And I mean, just how impactful the Nebraska fan base was in this market. I mean, you used to have Kansas City Star writers covering every Nebraska game at one point because there were so many Huskers in Kansas City and the crossover. But ever since, I'll be honest, I used to go on Kansas City Sports Talk all the time. This is one of the first interviews I've been on in Kansas City in 15 years. And it just kind of tells you, like, the two markets and fan bases and have kind of divorced themselves since Nebraska went to the Big Ten, and a lot has changed in these last 15 years.
Couple quick questions here, and we'll get you out of here. Let's start with this. Who do you think could be the Big Ten's version of Indiana this year? I think in order to make a run in college football, if you're one of those kind of teams, it's a combination of a few things. It takes schedule, talent, and a little bit of luck. Like, you got to have a lot of those things kind of come together in order to do it. We saw Indiana make the college football playoff last year, not really an expectation from a lot of people. Who do you think that team could be this year?
Well, I think everybody agrees there's 3 playoff teams: Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State. But after that, you're right. There's, I think, room for a fourth. Illinois is in that conversation for sure. They return everybody. I wouldn't sleep on Indiana, but their schedule's tougher this year. Nebraska, I think, could easily be that. If Nebraska wins this game tonight and they have Michigan and Lincoln on September 20th without Sharon Moore, and Bryce Underwood's going to be in Lincoln as a freshman, all of a sudden Nebraska's in that position because their schedule, they don't go on the road until October 11th. So this is a Nebraska team that's going to be playing in front of its own fan base for essentially almost 2 months of the season before they go on the road to Maryland. And that's not really a daunting road environment. So it does set up for Nebraska. It's hard to call USC guys a sleeper because they're loaded with talent. It's just a matter of if Lincoln Riley can get that talent together. But USC, they went out and bought 2 320-pound nose tackle, defensive tackle type guys for their defense. They've added a lot of pieces to that roster because they figured out it's probably cheaper to buy players for Lincoln Riley instead of paying him $80 million and go through a coaching change.
Are you guys big believers in Matt Rule? I really loved the hire, and I think he's kind of one of those coaches, and I'm sure you've thought this about other ones that they had. Man, if there's anybody that can get this Nebraska thing turned around, it's him. He's proven to be a really good coach at every single stop, has a pro pedigree. I think really speaks the language that you need to have success at Nebraska. Are you a believer?
Yeah, I think he's doing things the right way, and he's politically aligned to have success here with the chancellor, the president, the governor. All the people you need in your corner are huge Matt Rule fans, and they've got everything here. I mean, they have the nicest facilities in the country. They opened their facilities a year ago, and everything is set up here to win, and they have great NIL and support. It would be towards the top 10, 15 in the country. So there's no excuse, and the fan base is arguably the best in the country when you can sell out a stadium with almost 90,000 fans. In a state that doesn't even have 2 million people. I mean, that's pretty impressive. And just think about this. I mean, you're going to have 65,000 plus Nebraska fans in Kansas City tonight on a Thursday night for an 8 o'clock game. So everything you need to win is here. And I do think Matt Rule understands that, and he respects that, and he knows how to kind of push the right buttons here to kind of make it all work.
All right, I'll get you out of here with these final 2. The first thing is, Rob, my producer, you were talking to him just a bit ago. We were randomly just watching 94 Nebraska highlights. Do you ever just catch yourself thinking, man, this program used to be really, really good? Do you ever find yourself just going back in time?
Oh, I grew up around it. I went to all those games as a kid. I was in junior high and high school at that point. But, I can remember not seeing Nebraska lose ever. I mean, it was just, kind of like being I'm a Chiefs fan and a Dodgers fan. So it's like my childhood has kind of flopped where now the Chiefs and the Dodgers win and Nebraska has struggled. You can't have them all, I guess, win. But, yeah, that era, they went 60-3 guys over a 5-year period, and they could have won 5 national championships. They won 3. They lost 1 on a last-second field goal, and they fumbled away a Texas game that would have, if they won, would have played them for another title. So that was a team that was loaded that could have won easily 5 national titles in that little era. And changed a lot of college football. But, the Big 12 conference, changed a lot from when they were in the Big 8. There were some academic restrictions that came into place where they weren't able to maybe take some of the partial academic qualifiers and some of the things that they had success with. Texas kind of implemented those changes And that directly impacted Nebraska's recruiting and type of players they were getting as the Big 12 grew under Texas and Oklahoma in that era.
Last thing here, we love to kind of ask people like yourself this question. Who's the former Nebraska Cornhusker player that just you had to be there for? Like, everybody knows the Tommy Frazier's, the Ahmad Greens, the Lawrence Phillips, but like, who's that kind of like unsung Nebraska player that just like doesn't nearly get enough credit, but every Nebraska player, every fan realizes how valuable he was to the program and how good he was?
I'll give you two. Zach Taylor, the coach of the Bengals. He was the last Big 12 player or conference player of the year on offense for Nebraska. He was an outstanding quarterback, just in a rough era under Bill Callahan. Played in the Big 12 championship game in here in Arrowhead in 2006. Then I'll say Rex Burkhead. I mean, Rex Burkhead was beloved as what he did as a running back here, and got hurt his last year. If not, he might have finished his career the number 2 all-time leading rusher at Nebraska. He's still top 5. But Burkhead and Zach Taylor are two recent kind of unsung heroes that had great careers that maybe weren't on national championship type teams.
You know what? Don't tell anybody because I grew up a Missouri fan, but I used to really like Eric Crouch. I know he doesn't fit the category of the question I was asking you, but I always liked Eric Crouch.
Yeah, I was there in 2001 when he had that big run in Columbia, and it was kind of one of his Heisman moments that year. But yeah, Crouch, just a different era of football when you go back to what 2001 was to now, and the offense Nebraska ran, the way the conference is built. But that was an elite team. I mean, they played in the Rose Bowl that year and obviously got beat by a very good Miami. It's kind of funny when you bring up Miami. Willis McGahee is sitting in the lobby right now because his son is on the Nebraska roster. So he was on that 2001 Miami team that thumped Nebraska in the Rose Bowl that year.
Life is just a flat circle. Time is a flat circle. That is Sean Callahan joining us on the show. He has covered the Nebraska Cornhuskers for a while. He's with Husker Online. Sean, you guys do fantastic work, man. Enjoy Arrowhead, man. It should be a lot of fun tonight.
Hey, thank you. I enjoyed it. It's fun to be back on in Kansas City, and it should be a great game tonight. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. That is Sean Callahan with Husker Online joining us on the show today. Coming up in the 3 o'clock hour, we'll get to the Royals that took care of business. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Watch the show on YouTube by subscribing to the 965 YouTube channel. The Drive, brought to you by DM Entry Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Entry Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 965, The Fan.
Hey guys, football season is right around the corner. So that means whether you're watching your favorite college team or maybe you're watching the pros play, you're going to have people over and you're going to have your own watch parties. Well, if you plan on having a watch party this fall, make sure that includes the best barbecue in town at Gates Barbecue. With 5 locations around town, you are never too far away from that classic Gates barbecue taste. And let me tell you, the last time I was there, I got the burnt E-Mac, absolutely phenomenal. Now, you know, I'm a mixed plate kind of guy, but now I got to make sure I get that on the side. I got to make sure that I get that burnt E-Mac. I put a little bit of the sauce in there. I mix it all up. Oh, my goodness, it's absolutely delicious. Maybe you like to get your own grilling done during the football season. Well, you can still incorporate Gates Barbecue into that. Next time you're at the grocery store, make sure you go get some of the Gates sauce. Also, make sure that you go get some of the Gates seasoning. You can get that at any area local grocery store. It's Carrington here telling you, when football season around, with tailgate season right around the corner, I know you're going to be doing some grilling. And if you plan on doing some grilling or even eating some barbecue at the function, make sure that it includes Gates Barbecue.
This summer, Casey's has 89-cent fountain and frozen drinks. But if you don't have 89 cents, you could check your center console, or dig between your couch cushions, or ask Grandma for $1, or just use your credit card. We take those too. 89-cent frozen and fountain drinks at Casey's, all summer long. Restrictions may apply. See store for details.
Here we go. Count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
This is incredible.
Watch your local NFL game live all season long.
And he's in for a touchdown.
Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
Hi there, I'm Charlie.
And I'm Carter. Our dad is Rex with Rex Buys KC.
If you're thinking about selling a home in Kansas City and don't know where to start, our dad can help.
Sometimes life throws curveballs, like moving for a new job, dealing with a divorce, or inheriting a house you weren't expecting.
Dad doesn't just make offers, he talks with people to help them understand all of their options. No pressure, and it doesn't cost anything to talk with his team.
He's a local home buyer who really knows Kansas City. If selling to him is the right choice, he'll give you a fair cash offer, and you can close on your timeline even in as little as 7 days.
He buys homes in any condition. No need for repairs, no fees, no surprises.
Just an honest, easy process so you feel good about your decision.
Want to talk to him? Call 816-330-6000 or go to rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
Moms and dads, do you wish you could know where your kids' shoes are at all times? Now you can with Skechers' newest Apple AirTag compatible sneakers, Find My Skechers. It's the latest genius invention from Skechers, the comfort technology company. With Find My Skechers, there's a clever hidden AirTag compartment under the shoe's insole. You just pull up the insole and pop in the AirTag. It's sleek, secure, and your child can't feel it or see it. Then you can check where your kids' shoes are on the Find My app. Imagine that, just one look at the phone and you can see where your kids' shoes are. No more wondering or worrying. It's as easy as that. Plus, they're machine washable and durable, so they're long lasting. And Find My Skechers are available for boys and girls. Look, we all know Skechers is famous for comfort, and now they're giving us comfort of mind when it comes to our kids. Get Find My Skechers, Skechers' newest Apple AirTag compatible sneakers at Skechers.com, a Skechers store near you, or wherever kids' shoes are sold. Apple AirTag sold separately.
Expect mostly cloudy skies this afternoon with a high of 79.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Our recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI will find you the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Listen to the horns play.
Welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Thursday. This is a tweet from Adam Schefter of ESPN. The Cowboys continue to be the Cowboys. Several teams have spoken to the Dallas Cowboys about a potential Micah Parsons trade. And for the first time, the Cowboys appear willing to listen, sources tell ESPN. No trade is imminent, but another team could always make an aggressive enough push for it to come together quickly. The Cowboys would like to resolve the situation one way or another in the coming days with their season opener a week away against the Philadelphia Eagles. They hold their first practice coming up tomorrow, at least based on the information that we have right now. I would not be expecting Micah Parsons to practice for the Dallas Cowboys. How has this gotten so bad? Maybe I'm really falling for it. And I will admit it on the back end if I end up just being really wrong on this thing. Like, that's possible, right? Like, I might end up just being completely dead wrong about this. I thought that this was all a ruse. I thought this was all promotion for the Netflix documentary. The Netflix documentary is already on there. And now they're entertaining trading one of the 5 best defensive players at 26? So let me get this straight. I just want to understand this, because this is based off what Jerry Jones said in this article. When Micah Parsons issued his trade request on August 1st, Jerry Jones said they would not trade him. Jerry Jones believed that the Cowboys had an agreement with Micah Parsons on a 5-year extension that would have averaged $40.5 million per season. But now they haven't made any proposals, and neither has Parsons' agent. So let me get this straight. You guys were prepared to give Micah Parsons $200 million in August. Now you're listening to teams for a trade just because you don't want to talk to his agent, even though you have to talk to his agent? You guys got to help make sense of this for me. You really do. This one, it has me flummoxed. It has me genuinely perplexed at what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys. What teams do we think could make a Micah Parsons trade? It has to be the Patriots, right? The Patriots make all the sense in the world. They've got the cap space. If you're going to trade multiple first-round picks, I want to trade it to a team I'm not really sure if they're going to be that good. Like, if I'm trading you Micah Parsons, I at least want a chance that one of my picks can be a top 10 pick. I want an opportunity, a possibility that it could be that. Quarterback on a rookie contract, a lot of cap space, defensive-minded head coach. The Patriots, to me, make a lot of sense if you're going to be a team that would put a package together to try to go get Micah Parsons. Who are some other teams that we think could potentially do this if they're actually serious about it? Like, if the Cowboys are pulling a trick, hey, it's time to quit joking. It's game week if you're the Cowboys. It's genuinely game week. It's time to go. You're going on the road to play the best team in the National Football League, and you guys are unsure if your best player is going to be there. So I'm with you. You need to have a decision by the close of business Monday. Because then at that point, you don't practice on Wednesday. You actually are traveling to Philadelphia to get ready for it. Like, there ain't that many practice days, and he hasn't been practicing because you guys are not on the same page with the contract. So if you're going to make a trade, it better be imminent, or you better be willing to quickly resolve this situation one way or another, or you're just going to accept that this is going to play itself out into the season.
Let me ask you a question, because I will give this person credit on social media. Pretty Ricky, the football scoops guy. He nailed George Karlaftis, was 1,000% correct about George Karlaftis. And he was correct about Trey Smith. Pretty Ricky, he's an internet sleuth, basically. He says that the Packers have made a very fair offer to the Cowboys for Micah Parsons. So if we think, Pretty Ricky was correct about the Chiefs scoops, he's at least saying the Packers are a team that is in the conversation for Micah Parsons, the Cowboys. Now, I have no idea if the Packers have enough to give up, and I don't know if they have the cap room to take him on. Those are things I just don't know off the top of my head about the upcoming year for the Packers. But Pretty Ricky nailed it on Karlaftis. He nailed it on Trey Smith. He's saying the Packers. So, which would make no sense to me, but the Packers seem like a team that are at least interested in Micah Parsons as far as talking to the Cowboys.
I mean, I think there's a lot of teams that would be super interested in it. If you were at the point, this is why I find it hard to believe that they would actually pull the trigger unless the deal is so favored in Green Bay's favor. The last time the Cowboys made the postseason, who they lose to? That was to Green Bay, didn't they?
Game was never competitive either.
Green Bay came to their building, belt to backside, and then moved on. You're now going to trade that team your best player right before the start of the season? Also, if you're getting first-round picks, I mean, Green Bay's usually a playoff team hovering around the postseason. So you're willing to take the 21st pick this year and the 22nd pick in a future draft? You're willing to take that for one of the 3 best defensive players in the league, one of the 5 best defensive players in the league? In the NFC? Like, you're willing to help one of the teams that you are fighting with for playoff spots. You are fighting with for competition. You're willing to help give them your best player? That's why I'm saying, to me, the Patriots make sense. Let's ship them off to the AFC East. We don't got to deal with them anymore. You will absolutely have to deal with him again if you trade him to the Green Bay Packers. You'll have to deal with them maybe this season. You'll have to deal with Micah Parsons. So just why you would trade him to Green Bay if you were Dallas. I don't deny that Green Bay probably made a play. Why would you not make a play for Micah Parsons? I at least got to call, get a temperature check to see what the compensation looks like. But I don't know why the Cowboys would want to do a deal to a contending team in the NFC. That violates all the codes you're supposed to have.
It makes literally no sense to me. And I'm not saying I think it's the favorite or I think it's going to happen. I'm just stating a person on the internet who has been correct about these things in the past. I mean, he is basically, for college basketball fans, Trilly Donovan. He's the same type of person. He just announces these things. He says the Packers have an offer out to the Cowboys. Now, is that offer, hey, Jerry, would this get it done? And Jerry laughs and hangs up the phone? That I can't answer. And why the Cowboys do business with the Packers is honestly beyond me, unless you're getting a player and picks back. But even then, I don't know what player you'd want. It makes no sense to me, but I'm just stating that's a team that is in the mix right now, according to Pretty Ricky.
So we'll see what happens. If you guys missed it, Adam Schefter is reporting that several teams have spoken to the Cowboys about a potential trade for Micah Parsons. And for the first time during this entire process, the Cowboys are open to at least listening to hear what trade offers are out there. No trade is imminent, but we know how these things happen. Like, now if you're telling me that Micah Parsons is available, it ain't that hard for you guys to put a package together to at least try to entice Dallas to give you this. I mean, players like this, you just don't get a chance to get them very often. We're talking about a 26-year-old who is a proven pass rusher who, not just proven, like We're talking about a guy who can win Defensive Player of the Year this upcoming season. These guys just do not become available, whether it's in free agency or via trade. So there will certainly be a lot of teams that are making the phone call. I mean, the only reason I'm willing to entertain this is it's now a game week for the Cowboys, and they do not appear to be close on this. Maybe we all get fooled. Maybe we all wake up and we get this, oh, hey, it was a false alarm, and the Cowboys and Michael Parsons got a deal done. They are not speaking to one another, which is not good as you are heading into the actual game week and you're trying to win the the NFC East, and you're taking on the defending Super Bowl champions coming up in less than a week. Coming up on the other side, we're going to start transitioning to a little Royals baseball. Jacob Milhan's going to join us in the 3 o'clock hour. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison, host of the Random Royals lineup on 96.5 The Fan.
Baseball with the Royals.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Vanna White. I'm so excited to tell you about the new Wheel of Fortune instant ticket from the Kansas Lottery. You could win up to $25,000 instantly, or enter non-winning tickets into Play On for a chance to win a VIP trip to Los Angeles to play in the Mega Money Maker event on the set of Wheel of Fortune. You could win some big money, so go ahead, scratch and win with the new Wheel of Fortune instant ticket from the Kansas Lottery.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, my name is John, and I've been on ED and testosterone treatment at Heartland Men's Health for the past 15 months. I could tell, I was starting to go downhill, and my wife kept telling me, well, you need to go to a clinic that'll specialize in that. And that's what eventually led me into the men's clinic here. Treatment, in my opinion, is a miracle. I was able to perform to an elevated position that, quite honestly, I never thought I'd see again. For my fellow men out there, if you're feeling that you're not up to par, I encourage you, contact Heartland Men's Health, and you will see a dramatic difference.
Thank you. It's true. Your initial appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
2 years ago, Bobby Carpenter completed treatments for knee pain at QC Kinetics. So we're checking in with the former college and pro football player to see how he's doing.
I've been asked a lot, like, how long does this last? How long does it work? I go, I've had mine for a couple years, and everything feels very good. It feels just as good as it did when I started to turn the corner.
Bobby's an active husband, dad, and business owner. That's why 2 years ago, he heard about QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative treatments, and he knew he could trust them for his chronic knee pain.
And thankfully, with QC Kinetics, I was able to go through this, and my activities are the same as it was. I'm able to coach my kids in sports. I can play golf. I can go run.
QC Kinetics patients like Bobby don't miss a beat. No surgery or rehab, just freedom from debilitating joint pain. Ready for lasting relief from joint pain? Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation and see if you're a good candidate.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats. plus fast, dependable delivery. So he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, this is Michael Rosenbaum.
Hey guys, Tom Welling. Look, we both played heroes.
And we both played villains. But in the real life, there are no reshoots, no stuntmen, or sequels.
We all make mistakes. We're all human.
Making one bad decision can not only land you in jail, but can also put yourself and other people around you in serious risk.
Be smart, make a plan, catch a ride, stay put.
Your decision to drink and drive could permanently change someone else's world, whether you injure them or leave their loved ones grieving.
This Labor Day weekend, be your own hero.
Drive sober or get pulled over.
Paid for by NHTSA.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Chiefs football. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Coming up in about 15 minutes, we're going to be joined by Jacob Milham, who covers the Kansas City Royals with Kings of Coffin. We'll get his thoughts on the 3-game series between the Royals and the White Sox and what they need to do to win this weekend series against the Tigers. We've been talking some college football. We'll get back to it in the 3 o'clock hour as well. Nebraska is coming into town. It is believed that Nebraska is going to have 65,000 fans make the trip down from Lincoln to Kansas City. They are expecting a sellout today at Arrowhead Stadium for that game. Speaking of Arrowhead, let's talk about the Chiefs for just a bit. So there is a story right now on ESPN where they are giving an X factor for all 32 teams in the National Football League. Now, I'll tell you who they have as the X factor for the Chiefs, but first, I'll offer up one for you guys on both the offensive and defensive side. Rob, we'll get your suggestion as well. On offense, to me, the answer seems very, very simple. It's Hollywood Brown. I do not know what Hollywood Brown looks like really in this offense yet. Last season when we got a chance to see him, it was so late in the year that I don't know if we really got an accurate depiction of what that looks like. In the playoffs, I don't think he was himself, which makes sense. You basically missed the entire year last year. So I don't think that we really got a sort of feel and taste for what it was like to have him. I mean, Hollywood Brown got thrown the ball. If you add the postseason, if you add the regular season, he got 28 targets last year. That's a minuscule amount. In the postseason, he only got 13 targets. In the postseason, Hollywood Brown was 5 catches for 50 yards in the postseason and didn't score a touchdown. So I don't really know what to expect from Hollywood. Is he going to be the guy that they got at the end of the regular season? So in those 2 regular season games against Pittsburgh, he had 4 catches for 46 yards. Against Houston, he had 5 catches for 45 yards. You can obviously live with that kind of production. And if you get that guy on a game-in, game-out basis, a player that's going to give you somewhere between, let's say, 40 and 60 yards a game, and then when you get Rashee Rice back, and then you got Xavier Worthy, and you have all the other options that we're talking about with Kansas City, that's a really good third option, a really good swing flex option to talk a little fancy football here. So I like Hollywood Brown as their X factor. I can't really think of who on offense you could consider it to be. Maybe you would say Brashard Smith, just kind of in that Jerick McKinnon role and that Samaje Perine role. Maybe he's more heavily involved in pass catching than we are anticipating at this point in the season. But on offense, I can't really think of too many people that should get the X factor designation over Hollywood Brown.
Let me ask you a question. Does the X factor have to be a skill position player? Because if it can just be any player on offense, in the answer, Joshua Simmons? Like, if you're saying it has to be a skill position player, then I'm cool saying Joshua Simmons doesn't count, doesn't play a skill position, all that. But I feel like the obvious X factor is Joshua Simmons. I know he looked good in the preseason, but Kingsley Suamataia last preseason looked solid at left tackle, and then 6 quarters of football later, his left tackle career was over. Like, if the Chiefs feel like they got the steal of the draft at 30 whatever they trade up to get him, doesn't that mean that Joshua Sims is the X factor? Because if they have their Willie Rofe, if they have their Orlando Brown, if they have their Eric Fisher, just naming 3 different levels of franchise-type left tackle, then the Chiefs' offense should be back to explosive. But we don't know until it's live bullets time. He's coming off an injury, all the stuff. If it's only skill position players, it doesn't count. But if not, if it's everyone on the offense, in the answer, Joshua Simmons, he's just such an unknown.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would say Kingsley maybe more, but I think we're kind of going at it from the exact same logic. I would say that Kingsley is just much more of an X factor just because of what happened last year. Like, we were looking at Kingsley as a day 1 starter. It turned out to me by day 3, he was not a starter. And then obviously the Chiefs made a move and they were adjusting from, I mean, basically the entire season, they were adjusting to being so wrong on Kingsley Suamataia. That's what led them to have to move Joe Thuney over. That's what led them to bringing in DJ Humphries. Every decision that they made at offensive line really stemmed from Kingsley not being who they thought he was, and Wanye also not being who they thought he was. So I think you and I have the same logic, just looking at it a little bit differently through the eyes of 2 different players. Who do you feel like that player is on defense? Because ESPN, they have the X factor as Jaden Hicks. They have Jaden Hicks as one of those kind of players that could be an X factor for the defense. I like that. I would actually probably go Charles Omenihu. The Chiefs have never started the year with healthy and available Charles Omenihu. Remember, in the first year he got here, he was still dealing with the off-the-field issue from what happened when he was playing for San Francisco. So he had a suspension to kick off the beginning of the season. This past year, he was then recovering from the ACL tear and the leg injury. This is the first season, now heading into year 3. There has been no injury concerns with Charles Omenihu and no off-the-field drama, mess, whatever words you want to use to describe it. So to me, that's the X factor. There was a different version of George Karlaftis when you had Charles Omenihu. So if we were talking about off the rip, off the jump, your pass rushes, Dana and Ashton Gelati and Omenihu and Chris Jones and Karlaftis, I think you feel pretty equipped. You certainly have a good enough. It's not the best pass rush in the league or anything, but you definitely can be viable. You can certainly get after the other team's quarterback if you currently, and I think it's very safe to say the Chiefs have 3 proven pass rushers if they're all going to be healthy, and Omenihu, Karlaftis, and Chris Jones. So I'm going to say on offense for me, it's Hollywood Brown. On defense, I'm going with Charles Omenihu. Those are my X factors heading into the year.
God, Charles Omenihu is a really good answer. I mean this as a positive door to the Chiefs. Is there an answer outside of Hicks or Omenihu? Like, I was sitting here thinking, like, maybe Christian Fulton. Like, maybe. But Christian Fulton feels like a little bit of a known commodity in the NFL. But if he is better than Jalen Watson, now you can be flexible with McDuffie. You can play him inside. You can play him outside. Like, their cornerback room gets deeper. But, you know, he only played in the 1 preseason game. He was battling injuries at camp, you know, but he's a known player in the NFL. Is the answer maybe Leo Chenal, but we kind of know what he is? Like, the defense, in the nicest way possible, does not have X factors outside of Jaden Hicks and Charles Omenihu. And I would even argue those guys are a little bit of known commodities. Jaden Hicks played a lot of snaps last year in the NFL. We know what he is. He's just replacing a starter. And Charles Omenihu, when healthy and on the field, we know what he is. Like, the defense is kind of without question, without X factor, unless you get, like, deep into the depth chart, and you're saying, like, oh, how much can Ashton Gelati help us? Maybe he's the X factor. But if you're saying defensive end number 3 is your X factor, you're in a really good position as an NFL team.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I'm looking at this defense, and it's funny. I did a couple of interviews yesterday about Rashee Rice, about the feeling around the Chiefs. You know, you kind of get always asked that question, well, who's new? Well, there's a lot new on offense. I mean, there's a lot to talk about when we're coming to the offense. There's really not that much new when talking about the Chiefs defense. Like, this is a unit that I expect to be very good from the very beginning of the season and only improving. They're not really having to implement a lot of new pieces, and they're not really dealing with a lot of injuries on that side of the ball either. The offense is dealing with injuries. They're dealing with certain things. You're dealing with your number 1 wide receiver who isn't going to be there for the first 6 weeks of the season. That's not what we're talking about with the defense. So I got a lot of hope. I got a lot of expectations for this defense. I wanted to share this with you. ESPN, they are doing an NFL, an X factor for every team in the National Football League. The X factor that they have for the Kansas City Chiefs, it was Jaden Hicks. Coming up in a bit, we're going to get to the Royals. Before we do that, I just want to play this audio for you because, of course, Mad Dog Russo, he mad.
And I did an NFL breaking news. What? What happened? Parsons got signed? No, it wasn't that. And then today, I got to sit back and listen to Stevie wax poetic on the Lady Di Charles relationship. Can we calm down on Travis Kelce and freaking Taylor Swift? It's football season. I don't want to see him bow down, marry me, Taylor. I could care less. Let's play football. I'm not interested. Now I got to watch 9 million camera shots in that week 1 game when they play in Sao Paulo and Roger Goodell in the freaking, oh my God, enough. It's football time. I want Kelce to drop 5,000 passes because I'm taking the Chiefs as an under at 11.5. I ain't rooting for him at all. This is not Lady Di, and this is not freaking Charles in 1980. I am so sick and tired of seeing it. Hey, have a happy life. Thousands of kids love each other forever, but keep it away from my TV.
That was Christopher Mad Dog Russo talking about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. I imagine a lot of you also feel that way about the Travis and Taylor. They don't bother me. They're just, I would say, for as public as their relationship is, they've done a really good job of just keeping it private. We don't really know a whole lot about their relationship for her being the most famous person in America and him being one of the 5 most popular players in the most popular league. Like, they kind of just mind their own business. Hey, we're going to go to dinner. We love each other. Hey, we're going to, they don't really bother me. They really don't. I get why people are excited about it. I mean, I'm not a Swiftie by any means, but she doesn't bother me. She seems pretty cool. She seems fine to me. So, hey, I support them. If they're happy, I'm happy. So good luck to Travis. Good luck to Taylor as they are engaged to be married. Coming up on the other side, let's get a little Royals baseball in our day. Jacob Milham of Kings of Kaufman set to join the show. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Gold. I wanted to once again tell you about the 2025 Ford F-150 Lariat I've been driving thanks to Shawnee Mission Ford. It made the drive up to training camp so easy. Not only is it fully loaded, ventilated seats after a hot show up at camp. Trust me, the cooled seats are amazing. But also Blue Cruise, where it's hands-free driving on the highway. So go into Shawnee Mission Ford and test drive a vehicle and take advantage of the Labor Day sales event. 0% for 48 months, no payments for 90 days with approved credit on most new Ford vehicles. Shawnee Mission Ford, on a mission to do more. See dealer website for details.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
This is Creed Humphrey. Kansas City has the best fans in the world and the best bull riding team in the PBR. The Outlaws are looking to win it all this year, but they can't do it without you. I'm the chief of Outlaw Attitude, and I need you to pack the house. So buckle up and make some noise. The Outlaws are coming, and we know KC will be there with us. Come see Kansas City's next dynasty and join me at PBR Team Outlaw Days, October 3rd through 5th.
A blood emergency has been declared in the Kansas City region, and donors are urgently needed. Now through August 26th, donate with Community Blood Center and be entered to win tickets to the Chiefs home opener. Visit savealifenow.org or call 877-468-6844 to schedule your donation today.
Here we go.
Count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
This is incredible.
Watch your local NFL game live all season long.
And he's in for a touchdown.
Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
The pumpkin spice latte is back at Starbucks. Crafted with our signature espresso and real pumpkin sauce. Then topped with whipped cream, cinnamon, and nutmeg. The PSL. Get it while it's hot or iced. Only at Starbucks.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
In a world parched for excitement, one drink will emerge. Twisted Tea, the refreshing thrill ride of flavor. Recreating its classic role as the hard iced tea that goes down smooth. Twisted Tea doesn't just taste like real iced tea, it's made with real brewed tea and a 5% kick of alcohol. Taste the adventure with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Back to school is on the brain. That means new notebooks, pencils, new everything. And while the kids are getting ready to get book smart, it's time for you to save smart with Straight Talk Wireless. Switch now and get a free Moto G 2025 with 5G when you activate select plans. Now that's a smart call. Get Straight Talk covered by Verizon's 5G network. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Offer valid through 10/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Purchase of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required for offer. Must activate the plan in-store at Walmart. Cannot be combined with other offers.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done fast. We've got a huge variety of metals in stock, and we cut to size fast. Bottom line, we get it done fast, so you get it done fast. Doesn't get easier than that. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Find a store or buy online at metalsupermarkets.com.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by New Century Ram Dodge Jeep in Paola. Why buy your next vehicle at New Century Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Paola? Simple. Honest guys that don't need to add big city overhead into the price. Search New Century Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram to see the complete inventory.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by New Century Dealers. Good afternoon. Two-car crash, 71 southbound past 69th. Right lane is blocked. And two stalls in Overland Park, 35 southbound past 75th. And another at 69 from the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center on Val 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Hey Kansas City, it's Michael Waka. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
I just noticed something. I never noticed this before. So our text line is acting up, so I actually don't have access to the text line. That's why we haven't read any text. Rob, did you know that our old text line number is still up? And did you know that people text the number? Now I see why some of you get so mad. You have been texting the show, and quite literally, no one logs into that number anymore. I don't even know how I'm on the number right now. So I was on it earlier. We were using the text line. I got kicked off. It then auto logged me into an old login for it. And now it's the old number, the 586-7610 number. We don't use that number anymore. Now I see why sometimes you guys are so angry on the text line, because you're just basically just talking into the ether. No one reads this. Not a single person reads this. Like, oh man, they never reply to my text. Because you ain't talking to nobody. That's why nobody replies. I just want you to know that. So if you're texting the old number, if you're texting the 7610 number, I just want to let you know that no one monitors that number. Please delete that number out your phone and text the right one correctly. The 913-586-7965. Please text that one, and you'll just be a happier individual. And then there's a chance that I read your text, and then there's a chance that I respond to your text because I will have seen it. Let's go to the phone lines. Someone I always respond to is Jacob Milham. He is with Kings of Kaufman. Jacob Milham, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. I'm just glad you've never left me on red, C-Dot. That's these folks out here, they're trying to make their voices heard.
No,
but the interwebs are stifling it.
No, that's fair. You know what? I want to make sure that everybody gets their voice read. I really do. I want to make sure that everybody is happy. I honestly want to make that the case. So let's just start with this. It felt to me that on Tuesday night, we were looking at the possibility of baseball season being over. The Royals were down 4-0 heading into the 8th inning. You cannot afford to lose a series to the Chicago White Sox, not at this stretch in the season. And then magic happened. The Royals score 5 runs in the final 2 innings. They win that game 5-4. They still had more offense to go. They scored 12 runs yesterday. How do the Royals do this, where every time you think that baseball season could be over and then we could move on, the Royals always pull some kind of magic trick at the end?
It's just like The Godfather, ain't it? Every time we think we're out, they pull us right back in. See that? That's just how it goes. And yeah, it was evaluating just the vibes on Tuesday night to Thursday night immensely different. And you know, it's. People say, oh, well, you can't afford to lose this series. And from the Royals' perspective, I get it. In the wild card standings, you literally cannot afford to lose that series. And thankfully they didn't. They pulled it out. But then you're going up against a team this weekend in the Detroit Tigers that got swept. They got swept by the homeless Athletics. They don't even have a home stadium. So, I mean, no team is perfect. This is baseball. It's 162 games. Anything can happen on any given night.
Jacob, why do you think the Royals have been so bad against teams that are 500 or better? Now, most teams struggle against those teams. Those are the good teams in the sport. So I don't want to make it seem like everybody is great against them and not the Royals. But, I mean, they've been just beyond struggling against those teams. If the Royals end up missing the postseason, it will be because of 2 things. It will be because the month of June, where they completely drown themselves. It will then also be because, like, they could just never win a series or get hot or have one of those stretches against teams that really matter. Why have they struggled so much?
I wish I had the answer. Like, there's no specific answer. And if I had to gander, I think it's because something that Josh Vernier has brought up several times, and it's because it's the truth. The Royals this year, especially, have not been truly elite in any one area, right? There's so many facets to the game, and yeah, the fielding is well above average. Don't get me wrong there, but you know, those blunders cost a lot more. They're not elite at home runs. They have too many issues on the base paths sometimes. The starting pitching, especially down the stretch, has really waned. And now we're seeing, you know, once the bullpen got taxed, things got really dicey there for a little bit. And I think that's it. There's nothing that across the entire season the Royals can hang their hat on and say, we are a top 3 team in this, right? And that's not something that other teams have had to shut down, if that makes sense. I don't know what's going on with the Royals when they face teams above 500. It's so frustrating. It really is, because that's the fuel to the fire of so many people saying this is a good team. This isn't a playoff team. This is a good team. This is probably a winning record team, I would hope. But this just doesn't feel like a playoff team, and I think that record above 500 is the reason why.
Right now, we're talking to Jacob Milham. He is with Kings of Kaufman. Talking a little Royals baseball here is the Royals. They are 3 games back of the Mariners. That's really the only team that kind of matters now at this point, at least in my mind, is will they have the ability to be able to catch the Mariners. I do want to kind of look ahead to that series coming up in just a bit, but let's focus in on, I guess, present day and what the Royals are doing. Vinny Pasquantino has been on fire. I was talking to Denny a couple days ago, and he described Vinny as a guy that can just drive in runs. And I made the note to Vern, that's just like in basketball when you say a guy can just go get you a bucket. I'm not really sure if there's a better compliment that you can have for a first baseman than a guy who can just drive in runs. And that's what Vinny has done for really the last calendar year.
Yeah, he absolutely has. And it is, he gets, whether it's getting himself across home plate with putting one over the left field fence or driving in Bobby or Mike Yastrzemski in from second base, he gets those guys in and he puts a run up on the board, and that's all that really matters. He is, it is insane how different this lineup has felt once he recaptured that 2024 strength, right? Like 2024 was not a perfect year for Vinny Pasquantino at all. And it is unfortunate that he lost out on the latter part of that season with that injury. But he was great in whether it's a sacrifice fly, whether it was just hitting one to the gap or screaming one into right field, he was able to get it done. And yeah, he's been great. He has been awesome. And just like you talked about, well, what would the Royal season look without that month of June? I wonder what would Vinny's season stats look like if you started the year off in May. He had a really slow start to the year. And I remember things were bad enough that folks weren't calling for Jack Caglione to go to the outfield. They were calling for Jack Caglione to be the first baseman for the Royals. And now that just feels like an otherworldly thought. And that is all a credit to what Vinny is doing at the plate.
From a financial standpoint, how would you kind of handle Vinny Pasquantino? Are you going to do kind of the Cole Reagans, Hunter Dozier, where you just basically buy out his arbitration? Or are you interested in a more long-term solution fix for Vinny Pasquantino?
So of course, you got to focus on buying out the arbitration, I would say. And I wouldn't put too much stock in extending into its free agent years, if that makes sense. That's more of a concern when you have guys that are, they're making their debut when they're 22 or 23 years old, and you don't have that team control much past their athletic prime. That's not so much the case with Vinny. Like, you have him, he's in his baseball prime right now, or at least in the beginning of it. He's going to be 28 opening day 2026, and he's not a free agent until 2029. So I would say extend him out through the 2031 season. Then you get the best years of Vinny Pasquantino. And from his side, he can look at that. Okay, I have some stability here with the Kansas City Royals. And if he is still good enough at that point, once the deal expires, well, he could probably go get another lengthy contract in free agency at that point. I would love the idea of extending Vinny Pasquantino if I didn't think that Maikel Garcia was a bigger extension priority in my mind. Does that make sense, C-Dot?
Yeah, no, it absolutely makes a lot of sense. Right now, we're talking to Jacob Milham with Kings of Kaufman, just getting his thoughts on where we are right now with the Kansas City Royals. They have added a couple of new players since the last time that you and I got a chance to speak. I guess let's start with this. I give the Royals a lot of credit for not giving up. I think a lot of people were telling the Royals in early August, late July to kind of just give up. You know what I mean? Like, hey, the trade deadline is coming up. Trade Seth Lugo. Start to get ready for 2026. That is obviously not what the Royals have done. They kind of retooled the bottom half of that lineup on the fly, and I think it's paid major dividends.
It has. It absolutely has. And that is, Mike Yastrzemski has been head and shoulders above what I think anyone expected him to be, right? Like I expected him to be the left-handed side of the platoon with Randall Grichuk. I thought that was what he was going to be, and he has just been an excellent leadoff bat for this Royals lineup. And I think the ripple effects have been have been immense, right? No offense to Jonathan India, but Mike Yastrzemski has just been a much better batter in that leadoff spot, and that has pushed Jonathan India down to the back half of the lineup. But he's doing great in that role. And sometimes we talk about guys just needing a change of scenery. Well, it doesn't always mean changing teams, right? Like that batting 6th or 7th just later on changes how you approach the plate appearance. And Jonathan India has looked much more like the guy that Royals fans hoped he would be from the get when the team traded for him this offseason. And we saw another guy last night that the Royals got at the trade deadline that has really helped this team stay in it, and Ryan Berger. And we give a lot of credit to Noah Cameron and Noah Cameron's success as a rookie, and he deserves it. Ryan Berger is right there with him for an elite rookie starting pitching. And just the production has been amazing. It was great in San Diego, but how he has changed things and just kept the momentum going in Kansas City in a bigger role. I don't know. This past trade deadline, it couldn't have gotten much better for the Royals, and that has really kept them in the playoff race, even though there's 3 games back from the Mariners.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Berger. I mean, that was kind of one of those pieces that I know it was kind of difficult in the short term to give up Freddie Fermin, a guy that we all liked, but I think you like Berger, obviously, for the short term. He's been a positive for this team. Also, looking at the long term, like what it does more than anything is it just gives the Royals options. It gives them various options of what they can do this offseason. If they're going to keep a pitcher, if they're going to trade a pitcher, use it as collateral to try to get something more in a trade. That's what I think Berger really kind of gives them. He just gives them a lot of roster flexibility.
Yes, he absolutely does. And it is, we don't think about Dayton Moore very much in Kansas City Royals baseball anymore, I imagine. But he was right when he says pitching is the currency of baseball. And Ryan Berger is, in this world where starting pitching is at a premium in free agency right now, even relief pitchers who have a chance of becoming a starting pitcher are getting very good money on the open market. It's really made such a good, controllable, team-friendly player that much more valuable. And Brian Berger, and I don't think he's just scratching the surface, if that makes sense. I think he could still get much, much better, but I think he could do it for a long time if the Kansas City Royals will have him.
Right now, we're talking to Jacob Milham for a few more minutes here, just getting his thoughts on the Kansas City Royals as they are about to head into a series against the Detroit Tigers. What are your expectations for this Tigers series? We touched on it just a bit. I don't think it's realistic to pick the Royals to win this series. I would love to pick them to win the series, but just history tells you that they are probably not going to win this series. I want to be hopeful. I want to be optimistic. Give me the path for the Royals taking care of business this weekend against Detroit.
I mean, I think the path between them winning this series and losing it ultimately runs through Saturday. That is still, Noah Cameron. He's getting towards that scary workload point, and the Royals don't have him listed as the starting pitcher on Saturday. So I think that's going to be a big thing. Seth Lugo taking the mound on Friday night. We're going to need some 2024 Seth Lugo if they want to win that game and ultimately the series. We can't have the Seth Lugo that we've been seeing across the past month. That the start against the Rangers was really hopeful and really reminiscent of what he can do, but he just hasn't done that consistently over the past couple of weeks. So it's been frustrating. If you look at these two teams are so close on paper, C-Dot. I'm not even kidding. If you go and look up how the batters have been doing, how the pitching has been doing since the All-Star break, these two teams are very, very close. This game might just come down to star power, genuinely, because we have seen so many games from the Detroit Tigers where Riley Green just takes over and powers them to a win. He's the guy that can go get you that bucket and that win. Or Spencer Torkelson, the former highly regarded prospect. He's finding a new groove this season. He is the guy that can go out and get you that win. Now, Can Bobby Wood Jr. do the same thing? Can Salvador Perez go out and have just an elite game? Can Vinny Pasquantino have another huge game at the plate? I think that this is going to be decided in the margins, and just the star power, whoever shines brightest, can push you into that winning spot. I expect this to be a very competitive series. If I had to bet it, unfortunately, I wouldn't bet that the Royals would win the overall series. I'm with you, C-Dot. It's the Detroit Tigers are where they are this late in the season for a good reason. They are a very good ball club. But, like I said earlier, anything can happen. A very good ball club lost the Athletics 3 games in a row. So we'll just have to see what happens and tune in and find out.
Jacob, last thing here. The only thing that I want, and this is the one thing I'm asking for, I want the Royals to be within striking distance of Seattle in a couple of weeks. I just want to see what Kauffman Stadium's going to be like. I want to see what Kauffman's going to be like when the Royals are 2.5 games back of the team that's directly ahead of them, and these games matter. They're not going to be playoff games, but they're going to feel like playoff games in terms of importance and what it means for you actually making the postseason. That's all I want. I don't care how they get there, but I really want that Mariners series to mean something.
I think it will. I really, really think it will. If I can go on a tangent real quick.
Of course.
Jack Johnson, really, really great guy. He knows his stuff when he talks about Royals baseball. Last year, I remember he tweeted out a really long video of pops from Kauffman Stadium playoff history over the 2014-2015 run. And we know that Kansas City can be a baseball town. We saw it then. We saw the parade. We saw the sea of blue. We can see it. And I think that this team can take it to that Mariners series and keep it within striking distance. I really can. I will, if Royals fans need any hope out there, they ain't going to find it in the numbers. I'll tell you that much, C-Dot. Fangraphs has them at a 14% chance of making the playoffs. It doesn't look good. But, man, if they take advantage of a favorable schedule through to that Mariners series, they can take advantage of that, then, well, I think those games will have a big impact on their overall odds. Now, are the Royals going to be healthy? Or are the Mariners going to be healthy? Is that going to be another series decided by star power? I don't know. But the Royals they need to take care of business one game at a time, and it all starts with the Detroit Tigers.
That is Jacob Milham joining us on the show today. He's with Kings of Kauffman covering the Royals. Jacob, great stuff, man. We appreciate your time as always.
Thank you, C-Dot. I'll chat with you later.
Absolutely. That is Jacob Milham of Kings of Kauffman joining us on the show today. Always great to catch up with him and talk a little bit of Royals baseball. Rob, are you optimistic? Are you hopeful kind of heading into this series against the Detroit Tigers? How are you feeling heading into this?
I don't know if optimistic is the right word, because I just saw a series where the Royals and Tigers matched up and the Tigers won the series. But I'm not defeated. I'm not walking into this series with a defeated mentality. Because if we look back at that series last weekend when the Royals were in Detroit, and I know road versus home in baseball means very little in the regular season compared to other sports, but it does matter. They were in that game all the way to the end on Friday night. They were in the game all the way to the end on Saturday night, and then it was a back and forth, topsy-turvy. They won the game on Sunday. If you're telling me that same team is coming to town after getting swept by the don't have a home A's, there is reason to believe you can flip one of those games and take 2 or 3 at home. I wouldn't bet it because now you have to face Tarek Skubal this time, and Tarek Skubal might be the best pitcher in baseball, like not just AL, but pitcher, period. It's either he or Skeens. But I'm not walking into that series thinking to myself, oh, the Royals have no chance. I know the stats. I know all the numbers, but I just saw them play 3 games, 5 days ago? And it was back and forth. One play was the difference, one pitch difference here and there. If the Royals can get that one pitch to go their way, maybe they take 2 or 3 from the Tigers. And now it's Monday, it's Labor Day. We're getting ready for an Angels series, and maybe you're 1-2 back of the Mariners. And now the race is really on as you enter September.
Coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, we're going to head to Columbia to get you ready for the first Missouri game of the season. They got a game against Central Arkansas. They're still trying to figure out the quarterback position for the Missouri Tigers. Keep it right here. You're listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Cole Reagans from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with CDOT on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
College football season is back, my friends, and FanDuel is giving you a reason to lock into the season earlier than ever before. Right now, new customers can lock in just a $5 bet and get $300 in bonus bets if that bet wins. That's right. You'll get $300 in bonus bets to use anywhere on the app, and you can use those bonus bets on your favorite Week 1 lines. Maybe you want to place a Heisman odds future, over-unders, player props, whatever you need to do to get the college football season off right. Remember, FanDuel is safe to use, easy to use, and when you win, you'll get paid instantly. All you need to do is head over to FanDuel.com, use my promo code KFNZ, and sign up to get started. Remember, that's FanDuel.com/KFNZ. FanDuel is the official sportsbook partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue with non-withdrawable bonus bet. Retire 7 days and receipt returns supply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas. Under agreement, Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit kansasgamblinghelp.com. Listen up, folks. I want to tell you guys about my new obsession. It's Daisy French Onion Dip. With football season here, it is the perfect dip for your chips, your wings. The delicious Daisy French Onion Dip and the Daisy Ranch Dip, they're game changers. They're delicious as a homemade dip, and they're made with real herbs and real spices and also ingredients that you'd find right there in your kitchen. So the next time you're having people come over to celebrate the start of the football season, you better make sure you have one thing, and I'm talking about that Daisy French Onion Dip. You can find it the next time you go to the grocery store.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
How about those Chiefs?
Chiefs Kingdom, for the first time ever, the Chiefs play on Red Friday. Get ready for a kickoff like no other with our limited edition, one-of-a-kind How About Those Chiefs flag available on Friday, September 5th at KC area McDonald's for $5 or shop.chiefs.com for $10, benefiting Ronald McDonald House Charities of Kansas City. For more information, visit Chiefs.com/Red Friday. And make sure you tune into our game in Brazil against the Chargers that night at 7 p.m.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done fast. We've got a huge variety of metals in stock, and we cut to size fast. Bottom line, we get it done fast, so you get it done fast. Doesn't get easier than that. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Find a store or buy online at metalsupermarkets.com.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
This report is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99, plus 2 times points at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Limits apply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. You've got a crash past Overland Park, 35 southbound. It is past 95th in the right lane. North Kansas City, that's a 2-car crash, 35 southbound at Parvin in the right lane from the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center on Val 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Welcome back into the show. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll get you ready for Missouri's first game of the season. They are taking on Central Arkansas, but the story is they don't know who their quarterback is. We'll talk to Brandon Kiley about that coming up momentarily. Before we do that, let me give you guys a little bit of gambling updates. I know that some of you like to put a little money down on these games, and that's why I'm here to help you simply by giving you the information. I'm not here to offer up any suggestions. You got to come up with those suggestions on your own. I'm simply here to offer you information this season. The 5 most popular overs in college football this year: Nebraska over 7.5, Colorado over 5.5, LSU over 8.5, Missouri over 7.5, Illinois over 7.5 as well. I love the Illinois over at 7.5. I think the Illinois has got a chance of making the college football playoff this season, so that is a bet that I myself will be participating in. Let me get you ready for this weekend in college football and tell you the 5 most popular college football player props. They're all anytime touchdowns because, of course, you want to bet on a guy to win a touchdown. Jeremiah Smith, he is the most bet player to score a touchdown in week 1, the very talented wide receiver out of Ohio State. There's only been one other player that I thought could have played in the NFL after their freshman year. It was Adrian Peterson. If you guys remember Adrian Peterson's freshman season at Oklahoma, I'd never seen anything like it before. I didn't think it was possible to dominate college football as a true freshman the way that he was. And then we saw Jeremiah Smith last season, and he was by far and away the best player in college football last year. If just talking specialized. I thought he was phenomenal last year. So Jeremiah Smith, he's the most bet player to score a touchdown on Saturday. Jeremiah Love, who's the best running back in college football, he's number 2. Ryan Williams, he was one of the best wide receivers in college football last year. Cade Klubnik, he is the quarterback at Clemson. He is minus 115 to score a touchdown. And Arch Manning, he is plus 175 to score an anytime touchdown. I actually really like the Arch Manning touchdown. You're going to give me plus money. It just feels like a little RPO at the goal line, little QB keeper. He uses his athleticism to score a touchdown in his first real start as the quarterback of the Texas Longhorns. Go ahead and give me an Arch Manning at plus 175. I'm assuming you can get a boost on this. So, yeah, go ahead and give me a little Arch Manning with a little boost for the kickoff of the college football season. I really like that bet.
You know, all those bets tell me people are betting on known commodities early in the season. Like, Arch Manning, I guess, isn't a known commodity, but it's Arch Manning. We know him without knowing him. Jeremiah Love was in the national championship game last year for Notre Dame. He had that incredible run in the semifinal against Penn State. People know who Jeremiah Love is. Jeremiah Smith, don't even talk about it. Ryan Williams. If Jeremiah Smith didn't exist, we'd be talking about Ryan Williams as the best player in college football. And Cade Klubnik is, the second biggest betting favorite to win the Heisman behind Arch? Like, It's week one. It's these. You don't bet on things where you don't really know it. You're not walking into a game and be like, you know what? This is the week to take a dark horse, take a flyer. You don't know what you don't know. Take the names you know, because those are the five best players in the sport this year.
Yeah, for sure. No, you definitely got to go what you know. This isn't the time for player discovery. Team discovery, sure. But when it comes to players, I'll wait until later in the season before I start taking some chances on some other guys to score touchdowns. I want to play this audio for you for the very simple reason I have a new favorite athlete. One of the things I hate about athletes and athlete interviews and press conferences is they never say anything. And you guys always let them off the hook. Well, I mean, what else do you expect them to say? How they actually think and how they feel. Like, you're allowed to say that. I want to play for you the audio of a tennis player that I had absolutely no clue existed before yesterday. I don't even know the person who she got into the beef with. All I know is at the U.S. Open, I saw two tennis players. They looked like they were having a very spirited conversation. They looked like they were arguing about something. And then I heard the one tennis player tell the other tennis player, God bless, and then bowed to her and walked off. Now, I couldn't hear the whole conversation, but I think I know women enough. If she tells you God bless, bows, and walks off, she feels like she won the argument. Well, of course, at the press conference, she sits down, and now, hey, what happened? Listen to this. Oh, my goodness.
I can't speak on what her intentions were. I can only speak on how I handled the situation. And how I handled it is someone who's upset about the outcome that occurred. You lost, and you're upset about that. Saying I have no education and no class, I don't really take that personally, because I know that it's so far from the truth and so far from anything. And again, if I allow what other people have to say about me affect me in that way, then they win. So ultimately, no, I stood up for myself. And I kept in my mind in that moment how I wanted to portray myself and how I wanted to show up. And if my son were to see this interaction, how would he view it? And I think he would be proud of the way that I handled the situation. I'm very strong. I'm very proud as a Black woman being out here representing myself and representing us and our culture. And I make sure that I do everything that I can to be the best representation possible every time that I step on the court and even off the court.
She was talking even spicier than this, Rob. You didn't put all the sauce in there. She told that girl, you mad because I packed you up. I was like, oh, goodness, we need more of this. She cut a WWE promo. That's what I heard. I was like, oh, my goodness, I can't believe you're talking to the opponent like this. Why can't we get this more in sports that I actually watch? She was like, she mad because I moved on and I'm still getting paid and she's not. She's going home. I was like, oh, goodness. Taylor Townsend. I don't know nothing about her. I'm cheering for her. I don't even know if she's that good. I mean, she got to be good. She's in the U.S. Open and she just beat somebody. She said, I let my racket do the talk. That's what I like. We need more of that in sports. We need more. I don't like this other person. They were trying to do that in the WNBA, and then y'all got mad. I don't know what was happening. Like, oh, I don't really like her. Like, oh, why be nice to her? Like, oh, I kind of like it when they're not nice to each other. Sports are actually more entertaining when they're not nice to each other. I like it when they're mean to each other. Pick on the other individual. Good. I love the arguing about it. Let my racket do the talking. Rob, when's the last time you got packed up in something? Has that happened soon? I mean, that's going to happen next Saturday, but I didn't know if there was a time before this where you felt like your team got packed up.
I mean, NCAA tournament, does that count? That was you knew the
point.
feeling. You all
no, Steve, why you gotta do that? I don't know the feeling. I don't know the feeling.
We were brothers in arms that night. You had about 90 minutes of, well, that was fun to watch Kansas lose, and then it was commiserating. It was misery loves company. That's probably the last time.
No, Missouri definitely got packed up. I'm here to tell you, Bennett Sturts and Ben McCollum absolutely packed Missouri up that day. No, they did for sure. I was a little disappointed by it. Very disappointed. Do you have Nebraska winning today? I do. Do you hate Nebraska? Like, I don't know how Kansas fans in 2025 feel about Nebraska. Like, I don't really feel one way or the other. I mean, I don't really like Nebraska, but that's just because they used to terrorize Missouri for 40 years. But I don't got nothing against Nebraska. I'm not actively rooting against them today. How do you feel about the Cornhuskers?
There was definitely a time in my life when I hated Nebraska.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that time's just over. They're so out of sight, out of mind. I don't feel any negativity towards them anymore.
Like, I won't lie though, when they went to Dublin a couple of years ago and lost to Northwestern, it did bring a smile to my face.
I mean, I'm not going to be mad if they lose. I mean, I want to at least be there. Like if they win, I'm not going to be hating on it. But if they lose, I will definitely join you in kicking Nebraska's back in tomorrow on the show. Absolutely. I always reserve that right. I always reserve the right to make fun of your favorite team when they lose. That's just that. I always check the terms and conditions on that box every single time.
Yeah, I don't think I hate Nebraska, and I have a bet out on them to win tonight. I think they're going to cover the 6.5, and there's a couple boosts on FanDuel if you want to play them tonight. It's like there's money to be made, and I think they're going to have a home game tonight. So I'm kind of
I don't think they're going to have a home game. I know they're having a home game.
I know they have a home game tonight.
I actually don't know this. I've never been to a Nebraska home game. I've only seen them play Missouri in Columbia. What's the Nebraska? What's their, like, how you guys, like, wave the wheat, for example?
Their version of rock chalk or, like, the OH is they scream, "Go Big Red."
I know that, but, like, do they have anything else? Like Missouri, they, blow off the cannon when they score a touchdown, and they have the drum, and then the servicemen do push-ups whenever they score a touchdown. Like, what's Nebraska's thing?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the answer.
I only know,
I wish the text line worked. The text line would tell us, but the text line can't tell me.
I actually went to a Nebraska game once. Does holding your shoe up at kickoff count? Because they do that.
Absolutely counts.
They do that.
Hold on.
They do that. That's what they do.
They take their shoe off and
their
they
foot
hold
and they hold it up at kickoff.
What does that mean?
I just saw it happen. I was at a Nebraska game. I saw it happening, and I was like,
did you take your shoe off?
I'm not a Nebraska fan, so I did not.
Okay.
My shoe stayed on my feet that day.
I didn't know.
I was also in bleachers.
I'm going to tell you one thing, though. I bet that Nebraska highlight pump-up video, I bet it's real good. Kind of like you guys got a good video at Lawrence. I bet their video's good. Now, you guys have, like, current memories to tell you how good you are. Their memories, they just stop at some point. But I bet they got a real exciting pump-up video.
It's all the way until that Nebraska 0-1 national title game, and then no more pump-up.
That's kind of the end of it. No, that honestly is the end of excitement for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll be joined by Brandon Kiley. Let's talk about Mizzou. They don't know who their quarterback is. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. You've got a stall in Gladstone. That's going to be 169 Highway southbound, just before Northwest 68th in the right lane. And a crash past Overland Park, 35 southbound past 95th, right lane block there. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center on Val 96.5, The Fan.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Don't let clogged drains slow you down. Call Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews ensures your peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Listen up, folks. I want to tell you guys about my new obsession. It's Daisy French Onion Dip. With football season here, it is the perfect dip for your chips, your wings. The delicious Daisy French onion dip and the Daisy Ranch dip, they're game changers. They're delicious as a homemade dip, and they're made with real herbs and real spices and also ingredients that you'd find right there in your kitchen. So the next time you're having people come over to celebrate the start of the football season, you better make sure you have one thing, and I'm talking about that Daisy French onion dip. You can find it the next time you go to the grocery store.
Hey, it's Gold. I wanted to once again tell you about the 2025 Ford F-150 Lariat I've been driving thanks to Shawnee Mission Ford. It made the drive up to training camp so easy. Not only is it fully loaded, ventilated seats after a hot show up at camp. Trust me, the cooled seats are amazing. But also Blue Cruise, where it's hands-free driving on the highway. So go into Shawnee Mission Ford and test drive a vehicle and take advantage of the Labor Day sales event. 0% for 48 months, no payments for 90 days with approved credit on most new Ford vehicles. Shawnee Mission Ford, on a mission to do more. See dealer website for details.
The smell of football and tailgating is in the air, but Labor Day gives us one final weekend of summer before fall, and Hy-Vee is here to help with all of your Labor Day plans. They have grilling favorites like prime reserve beef, chicken grillers, and their specialty brats. And with the Chiefs opener on September 5th, I'm headed to Hy-Vee to get some new gear and pick up my favorite party treats like those amazing Chiefs-themed sugar cookies. We got it all at Hy-Vee. Fall's on the horizon, football's on the horizon, so kick off your best fall ever with my friends only at Hy-Vee.
If you're crazy for craft beer, a connoisseur of Cabernet, or master of the margarita, Hy-Vee Wine and Spirits has a huge selection in stock and competitively priced. From value bottles of wine starting at $3.99 to top shelf liquors, get 10% off when you mix and match 6 or more bottles. Hy-Vee's knowledgeable and friendly staff is here to help, or place your order through aisles online for added convenience. Low price, selection, service, and convenience. There's more to love at Hy-Vee Wine and Spirits.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Vanna White. I'm so excited to tell you about the new Wheel of Fortune instant ticket from the Kansas Lottery. You could win up to $25,000 instantly, or enter non-winning tickets into Play On for a chance to win a VIP trip to Los Angeles to play in the Mega Money Maker event on the set of Wheel of Fortune. You could win some big money, so go ahead, scratch and win with the new Wheel of Fortune instant ticket from the Kansas Lottery.
Robsite Ford. Non-commissioned staff, low prices, best trade-ins, and the biggest selection. Visit robsite.com.
Shopping for a new Ford? Go where it's easy. Robsite Ford. Non-commissioned staff, huge trade-in values, and Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer. Robsite Ford. ROBSIGHT.com.
Have you watched Die Royal Decree? How about Chiefs Take Tuesday? Or would you rather Wednesday? Follow us on Instagram at TheFan965 for exclusive video content, giveaways, and behind-the-scenes action. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station. The Drive. First to breaking news in Kansas City.
I don't think we've ever done this before. We have a guest on the show. BK, have you seen the news?
Oh, no, I haven't. What did I miss?
The Cowboys are trading Micah Parsons to the Packers, who will sign him to a 4-year, $188 million extension, $136 million guaranteed. This was confirmed by Tom Pelissero.
Are you messing with me, C-Dub?
BK, you think we would play the breaking news sound, or I would do all that to just mess with you? What's going on here? Who do you think you are, BK?
Do we know what they gave up?
No, we don't know. That's why I'm saying is, BK, for the first time ever, we're going to talk about this, and we're going to call you back in 10 minutes. Are you available in 10 minutes? I can't now talk about Sam Horn and Micah Parsons just got traded. What's happening here?
Yeah, man. Give me a call back in 10 minutes.
Okay, yes.
I'll be listening to find out your thoughts.
Okay, yes. So call back in 10 minutes when we all know what he got traded for, and then we'll come back. We've never done this before. I can't. Who is this Ricky individual? How does he know so much? If you guys missed it, breaking news. The Cowboys are trading Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. Micah Parsons and the Packers have agreed to a 4-year, $188 million extension, $136 million guaranteed. He gets on average $47 million a season. What a contract. Whew. All right. Where do we begin?
By the way, Green Bay.
Oh, you know what? Okay, hold on.
No,
all right, hit the news again.
I don't have that. I wanted to point out real quick.
Okay, I was going to see if you knew what he gave up.
Green Bay plays at Dallas this year.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Google it up. September 28th. The Cowboys are hosting the Packers.
Is that like Sunday Night Football or something?
It's about to be.
Can we go ahead and flex that game right now? Oh, you know what? That game can't even be the 325 game. You want to know why? That's the Chiefs and Ravens. So that can't even be the 325 game. That's going to be the noon game?
It's Sunday Night Football.
Oh, it's Sunday Night Football? Oh, my goodness. Even better. All right. There's so much to get into. Let's start with this. And I feel like this is a worthy question. Are you mad at the Cowboys for not wanting to sign this deal for Micah Parsons? We agree. That's a quarterback contract. And I love Micah Parsons. I think he is phenomenal. I understand why you didn't want to give him a quarterback contract. 4 years, 188. Let's look at quarterback contracts. We don't know what the trade was yet, so hold on. We're waiting to see what the trade was. I don't know what the Packers gave up. The moment you know, Rob, hit the breaking news sounder again, and then we'll react to this. I am completely stunned that the Cowboys did this. Stunned, floored that they did this. All right, I'm pulling it up right now. That's basically what Kirk Cousins got to go to Atlanta. It's essentially the Kirk Cousins contract. $180 million, $45 million a year. He got much more in a total guarantee. If we're talking of total guarantees, he got 186. I mean, that's more in guarantees than Lamar Jackson got.
According to Rapport, it's the highest paid non-quarterback contract in history.
Okay, I read it. It was 136. So hold on, let me pull this up here in total guarantees. Yeah, this is, goodness gracious.
I don't know. I mean, it's like I'm torn. I think he's definitely worth it, and he plays a position where that value exists. I want to see what Dallas got back. My knee jerk is I would have paid that number to Micah Parsons.
I mean, it has to be 2 first-round picks, right? That's the only way this makes sense.
Minimum. There's no way it's less than that.
What do the Cowboys know that we don't know about Micah Parsons? This is the biggest NFL trade since
Tyreek?
Khalil Mack? Yeah, probably. Yeah, Tyreek.
Tyreek, yeah.
Well, I guess I put in 2 different categories. Tyreek got traded before the draft.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
After
fair.
the draft, biggest trade since Khalil Mack, so biggest trade in a decade in the NFL?
Then yes, it is the biggest trade since Khalil Mack. I agree with that.
What do the Cowboys know? I mean, he's released a statement.
Or is it possible the Cowboys don't know anything? Like when the Mavericks traded Luka Doncic, if I said, "Hey, what do the Mavs know?" you would have said nothing. Like, is it possible they know
Dallas
nothing?
traded Micah Parsons and Luka Doncic in 6 months. It's tough. That's tough. That's real tough. Michael Parsons wrote a letter. We are all processing this in real time. I didn't believe that the Cowboys were going to do this. In the season, I just thought it was a bluff. I wasn't buying it. I was not a believer. Didn't think that it was real. And I can't believe that they traded him to a contending team in the NFC. Is this enough to make the Packers? And I feel even better about this. Have I not been telling you the Packers? So now I feel even more emboldened. The Packers are winning their division now. I feel even better about this now that the team that I've been telling you I really like, and I was scoffed at, mocked, laughed at, now they got one of the 5 best defensive players in the league over the last 2 hours or so. So yeah, looking at highest paid, I mean, this is, I don't think the Cowboys were paying this. Now looking at what it is. So Micah Parsons got $47 million a year. TJ Watt's at 41. Jamar Chase is at 40.2. I mean, he got $7 million more a year than Myles Garrett got. I got to see how this contract is structured. I'm a little bit surprised that we haven't gotten yet the compensation on what was given up to go get him. I'm going to guess 2 1s and a 2.
I'm legitimately stunned we don't have the full details of the trade, but the highest paid non-quarterback contract in the history of the league.
I think we kind of knew that it was kind of trending in that direction. Like, you're kind of next up to get that. I'm surprised by like how much it eclipsed all the other deals. He also sat here and wrote a letter. I don't got to read the whole thing, but from the moment I arrived in Dallas, you guys embraced me as your family. You made a kid from the East Coast feel right at home in Texas. Every time I pulled into work, every time I stepped on the field, I felt the weight and pride of representing you. You didn't just give me a jersey. You gave me a place to belong. This is a sad day, but not a bitter one. I'll never forget the joy of draft night, the adrenaline of running out of the tunnel, or the brotherhood I shared with my teammates, coaching, and the staff. Thank you, Cowboy Nation, for every cheer and every moment. With gratitude and love, number 11, Micah Parsons is the newest member of the Green Bay Packers. How are you ranking the NFC right now? Eagles 1, Packers now considered the second best team, or are you still hesitant? Are you picking the Lions or somebody else? If we're removing the Eagles from this, I think the Eagles, obviously, they're still the best team in all of this. Are you putting the Packers now at number 2 because of this major addition?
I think you have to because of the addition, but it's weird to think that the second best team has Jordan Love as their quarterback. I'm way more hesitant about Jordan Love than you are. By the way, it's a leak. It's a very quick drip. But
from who? Who got it?
It's not nothing in full. The beat writer for The Athletic says...
Okay, that counts. That counts.
He says at least 2 first-rounders going to the Cowboys.
You can't take anything less than that if you're the Cowboys. What were you doing if you didn't get at least 2 first-round picks?
But the full details are not out yet. Just a drip of what's happening. $47 million.
I wonder what other teams were into this. Like, I want to see the compensation, and then I would just ask New England, why were you not in on this? Like, why were the Patriots not in on this? Why were the Chargers not in on this? Like, if Micah Parsons was truly available, and you have to now assume that he was available to everybody. If they were willing to trade him to Green Bay, they're willing to trade him to anybody, I guess, other than Philadelphia and Washington, right? You weren't trading him to the Giants. You weren't trading him to a team in your division. But if you were willing to trade him to Green Bay, you were willing to trade him to anybody outside of your division. Why were the Patriots not in on this? Made a lot of sense for the Patriots. Now, it also makes a lot of sense for the Green Bay Packers. I mean, I'm now looking at that defense. I think they got a chance to be really, really good this year. That division was already really interesting. Like, it was already a really interesting division. It's turned up even more. This is the biggest move of the offseason. It happens directly 1 week before the start of the season. If you guys missed it, Micah Parsons, he has been traded to the Green Bay Packers, 4 years, $188 million. We are still waiting to see the details of the trade, but it is now official. Micah Parsons has released a statement. Everybody who covers the NFL has reported on it. Micah Parsons is now moving up north. He is now the newest member of the Green Bay Packers. We'll get back local coming up on the other side. We'll hear from Brain and Kylie. We'll also react to, I imagine, here in the next 10, 15 minutes, we'll find out the trade details for Micah Parsons. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Catch Hall of Famer Denny Matthews every Monday at 3.
And gone, Bobby Witt.
On your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Once active and adventurous, Stephanie was sidelined by joint pain. She was losing touch with what gave her real joy.
I want to stay active, and if I don't do something now to feel better, that will keep me out hiking and running and doing all those activities, my health's going to suffer from it. I had the treatment at QC Kinetics.
Their all-natural regenerative treatments use the restorative biologics from Stephanie's body. As the healing properties went to work, Stephanie realized something one day.
I was like, wow, I don't feel any pain. I have no problem going up and down stairs. I have no problem going down mountains. Snowboarding felt good again.
If you see Stephanie, give her a thumbs up. That is, if you can catch her.
And now I can totally keep up with my friends in their 30s, and I'm 55.
Don't even think about giving up. There's lots of life left to live. Call now for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
This Royal season, it's fountains up, it's batters up, adrenaline up, intensity up. And when the Royals battle the Mariners on Tuesday, September 16th, it's time to lift your hounds up, your terriers up, your spaniels, shepherds, retrievers, and mutts up. Harness up for Bark at the Park, presented by Underdog. Bring your four-legged fans to the K and take home the mystery Hot Dog Derby plush with the purchase of a theme ticket. Tickets at royals.com/bark.
At Casey's, we're too nice to say no. So when someone asked for a free frozen drink, we said sure. Then they said every Friday all summer, and well, now we're giving away free medium frozen drinks every Friday. Free frozen Fridays with Casey's Rewards. It's not crazy, it's Casey's. See store for details.
Numerous brands to choose from, endless options, one incredible experience. At Aristocrat Motors, we treat every driver like royalty and offer the finest luxury vehicle experience in Kansas City. Come see us today and let us roll out the red carpet for you.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Follow the station on Instagram at TheFan965 for giveaways and behind-the-scenes content.
All right, it looks like we have all the details right now for the Cowboys and Packers trade. The Packers have now acquired Micah Parsons. He has signed a 4-year, $188 million deal. He has $136 million guaranteed. We now know the compensation for the Cowboys. The Cowboys received 2 first-round picks. They also received defensive tackle Kenny Clark. So that is the trade. It looks like it is official. Micah Parsons has already said a goodbye letter to the Dallas Cowboys. One very, very important thing to note, this is the Sunday night football game in week 4 of the NFL season. I don't really know if you could script it much better than a week before the start of the season. By far and away, the biggest offseason move. Micah Parsons no longer on the Cowboys. I mean, I understand we still got a long way to go in all of this, and I understand the sack numbers have kind of changed just a little bit. I mean, Micah Parsons has a chance of being a Hall of Fame player. He has a chance of being a Hall of Fame player. We're talking about a guy who has been a double-digit sack guy every season that he has been in the National Football League. I mean, this past season, he played in 13 games and got 12 sacks. I mean, we're talking about one of the elite premier pass rushers in the league, and he just got traded today to the Green Bay Packers. Let's go back to the phone lines. I don't think we've ever had a person on the show 2 times in a 15-minute span. BK joins us again on the show. BK, I know we had you on here to talk about the Missouri Tigers. What do you make of this trade?
I'm shocked, Cena. I thought all along they were going to string this out. They were going to do the most Dallas Cowboys thing possible. They're part of the opening night festivities in the NFL against the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken. I thought we were going to see, like, Jerry Jones, Micah Parsons, that we'd be walking to the stadium together to sign the contract. And then they would announce it on the opening night of the NFL season, and it would be this kumbaya moment. Jerry would get his moment coming off of this documentary, which got the Cowboys back into the press. I thought that would be the way this thing would go. And more often than not, I ignore all of the noise with these contract things. Terry McLaurin got re-signed. We saw something happen with the Trey Hendrickson contract. Like, that's the way this goes. That's the way it always goes because the player has no real leverage. The team gets to use multiple franchise tags on these guys. You've got fifth-year options. Like, there's so much in favor of the team that almost never do we see this actually go down. And then this time, because Jerry Jones is involved and his feelings got hurt, it actually happened. I can't believe they only got 2 first-round picks. And, I mean, Kenny Clark's a fine player. Dude, he's 29. Like, he's a nose tackle. This is crazy. I cannot believe it actually happened.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here looking at it, and for 2 first-round picks, like, I wonder what other teams were in this because, I mean, we were talking about this earlier, maybe at like 225 or something. I was just saying, man, I find it hard to believe that the Cowboys would trade him to a team in the NFC, like a contending team. Like, we're not talking about they traded him to the Saints, a bad team. We're talking about, like, this is the last team to beat you in a postseason game. This is the team that could win double-digit games, and now you're going to trade your best player to them. Like, it just didn't really make a lot of sense to me why the Cowboys would end up doing this. Obviously, they've done it. I was wrong. Shout out to Scoops Ricky. He has been on fire. Like, he has been literally on fire so far this summer. It just makes me wonder what other teams were in on this. Like, I wonder why New England didn't want to make this trade to just really give them that centerpiece kind of player. You got a quarterback on a rookie deal. That was the team I would have guessed that he would have got traded to. But I'm like you. I just thought it was all nonsense. I thought it was all WWE. You know how we do. You know how the Cowboys do. I thought they were going to end up on Tuesday doing exactly what you're talking about, that he wasn't going to play in week 1, but they reached a deal, and then he'd be back for week 2. That's how I thought this thing was going to play itself out. It obviously played itself out very differently.
That's the way it always goes with any other organization. And then Jerry Jones gets involved here. And, I mean, to be fair, like, Jerry's done it that way. He did it with Dak. He did it with Zeke. We've seen this play out, and it doesn't end up with the player traded elsewhere. But this time it did. I do think this is a fascinating trade to follow, man. I mean, you mentioned the Khalil Mack trade, and that's the one that's probably the closest comparison. But oftentimes when you see a deal like this, when you first see it go down, it feels as though the team that got the player won in a landslide. And that's the way that I would favor this one. $47 million is a lot of money, man. And it changes the way that you're able to construct your roster in future seasons. So it'll be fun to watch this thing play out. There's no way the Cowboys win it. Like, this is going to be a disaster for the Cowboys, and nobody's going to praise them after the fact. But I will be curious to see how it ends up going for the Packers. I loved them this season. I loved them before this. I'm with you. I thought they were a legit Super Bowl contender, and now they even rise up the ranks in that regard. But 2, 3, 4 years down the road, we will see how this ends up going for them. It's a lot of money to pay a defensive player.
Right now, we're talking to BK. Our plan was to get you ready for the Missouri game, and then Micah Parsons just got traded just completely out of nowhere. I do want to get your thoughts on Missouri. This is the one time I feel just kind of removed, at least from this aspect. I don't really care who they start at quarterback. Like, we haven't really seen a whole lot of Sam Horn. It's year 3. There was certainly a lot of hype and buzz, but now I wonder to myself, did he just play with Travis Hunter, and that's why we think so highly of him? The other quarterback, Bo Perbula, was very good at Penn State in a very limited role. I mean, I kind of trust their decision-making, and whoever they think is the best starter in that, I'm happy to see them pick and make a decision and move forward. But it sounds like we're at least going to have to wait a week until they play Kansas to get an answer to that question.
Oh, you think so? I think we know. I think Bo Perbula is the starter. Bo Perbula playing the entire first half feels very similar to Brady Cook playing the entire first half in 2023 when they went into that one and said, hey, this is still an open competition. Sam Horn could win it. And then we saw him come in the second half. They were up like 28-3, and he threw 5 passes in the second half. I think something very similar is going to take place this year, where if you're not up big by the time you get to halftime, something has gone horribly awry tonight against Central Arkansas. I anticipate Bo Perbula is going to look pretty good because he's playing Central Arkansas, and he'll get Mizzou up big. Sam Horn will come into the game. He'll barely throw the football, and we'll go into week 2, and really we'll go into Friday's show for you, knowing Bo Perbula is the starting quarterback for the Missouri Tigers, which is fine. I don't necessarily have any issues with that. I'm just kind of surprised by the way this is all played out, if that's the ultimate landing spot.
Let's talk about then what I guess kind of what surprises you. It kind of feels like if you're not a starter by the 3rd year, then Missouri just doesn't think you're a starting quarterback for them.
Yeah, what surprises me is the way that Drink's played this publicly. It's not – I thought all along, all offseason, that Perbula was going to be the guy. I mean, they didn't go to the portal for no reason. They went out there, they paid – I mean, it's been reported, like a lot of money for Bo Perbula, and they wanted him to be the guy, it seems like. They gave Sam Horn a chance. It was a competition at one point in time, and it seems pretty clear based on now the way they're handling it that Prbula won. What I don't understand is why last week Drinkwitz comes out and says, hey, we'll have an announcement for you tomorrow, and then he says, we haven't had enough information, we're going to play them both in week one, and then he continues to trickle this thing down the road up till we get the report from Pete Thamel, hey, it's going to be one half for Prbula, one half for Sam Horn. The messaging on it has just been a little weird. Does it ultimately matter? Not really. As long as they get the quarterback position right, everybody will be fine with it. It's just been kind of strangely handled this offseason.
How do you feel about the rest of the team? Because it's kind of funny where I think Missouri might actually be a little bit more well-rounded than they were last year. Like, I get last year. Like, they returned their quarterback. They had, we thought was going to be a top 5 receiver in college football. Like, I understand why the hype was there. I think their defense might actually be better this year than last year. I think they have maybe more weapons in the passing game than they had last season. How do you feel about the rest of the roster aside from QB?
I agree with you. I think there's real questions on the offensive line. Caden Green bumping out to left tackle I find to be interesting, and I don't think we're going to get any real answers on that this week. We'll have to wait until next week when they play Kansas to learn anything meaningful about the O-line, but that I think is a fair question. I do have a legit question on, is there going to be like a legitimate go-to guy in their receiving core this year? I think they've got a lot of good options. Who's going to be the go-to guy when you really got to have it, though? Last year, that really became Theo Weiss. The year before that, obviously, it was Luther. What's it going to look like this year? But I think their defense has a chance to be, top 5 in the SEC, which means top 10 to 12 in the country this year. They're loaded, man. They are loaded from top to bottom. The only real question on that side of the ball is corner, and that's more, again, do you have a legitimate number 1 corner than it is any question about whether or not they've got enough dudes to go out there and start. So I think this team has a chance to be really good. Comes back to quarterback, left tackle. Do you have a go-to guy in the receiving game? Because I think, CDOT, their running game could get back to where it was 2 years ago as well.
That is Brandon Kiley joining us on the show today. He is with ESPN 101 in STL. This appearance, it ended up going a lot different. Whenever Rob told me that you were coming on the show today, I would have never guessed that a majority of our conversation would be about the Green Bay Packers. That's not what I was expecting.
100% agree. CDOT, out of curiosity, would you have traded Trent McDuffie and 2 first-round picks for Micah Parsons to give him that contract?
No. That's a good question, though. It's a really good question. I wouldn't have done it.
Okay. I agree. I don't think you could have made the money work with Mahomes, but that's been my question all along. All right, CDOT, appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely. As Brandon Kiley joining us on the show today. Rob, would you have done that trade?
No. The money's too big. No.
The money is what scares you off if you're the
Correct.
Chiefs.
Also, that's not what Green Bay gave up. They gave up a 29-year-old nose tackle.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, that's what I'm saying.
McDuffie's light years better than Kenny
100%,
Clark.
100%. They traded 2 first-round picks and Charles Omenihu for the contract. You know what I mean? That's what they ended up giving up. That's a really interesting question, though. Yeah, I would have said no if I was the Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs were interested. I don't think they played in this market at all. I will be very, very curious to hear what other teams were interested in Micah Parsons other than the Packers because he was available. I'm also guessing that this deal came together really, really quickly, too, like in the last week. Like maybe at the beginning of the week on Monday, I think this deal started, and they just been having these conversations. Like, you don't just agree to a 4-year, $188 million deal. You just don't agree to that contract overnight. Like, you've been working on this for the last 72 hours, and now the media is starting to be alerted to, hey, something is about to happen. Now, I know, like, Schefter wasn't first on this. What's the guy's name? Scoops Ricky? Whatever. Pretty Ricky. I mean, he's just been right. He was the one that called the Trey Smith contract. He ended up calling this contract. I mean, it has been the summer of Pretty Ricky in the NFL space. I don't know who he is. I don't know why one of these networks don't scoop him up. He clearly is in the know. I don't know who he is, but he clearly is in the know. And, like, who do we even think, like, what kind of person could it be? Is it a former coach, a former player?
Is it someone still in the front office somewhere? Like they're like a player personnel person somewhere in the league. I mean, there's got to be a reason he's in anonymity.
No, yeah, I mean, I agree with that. But then, like, I don't really know why the assistant general manager for the Indianapolis Colts would be on Twitter scooping stories. Like, that just seems like such a bad allocation of time if that's who you are. It's like somebody who clearly knows and is like around the rest of the league, I don't know. It's like really interesting because I guess in college basketball this happens, but it's just on such a smaller scale. Like the fact that the Micah Parsons trade, which is the biggest trade in, like if you want to say biggest trade total, it's the biggest trade since Tyreek Hill. If you were saying at this part of the season, it's the biggest trade since Khalil Mack. So we're talking about the biggest trade in the decade. It was scooped by an anonymous person on social media. That's a story within itself. How does that person know that this is about to happen? But maybe that's only a story that really interests us in the media. It's just a crazy story that it ended up happening this way. I am really curious how you would rank the NFC now. Like, Eagles 1.
I think you have to have Packers 2. But I don't feel good about that because I don't feel good about Jordan Love. Like, I think the Packers have to be 2. I think the Lions are bound for regression. I like the Vikings more than most, but there's a massive question at quarterback. A lot of people like the Bears. There's a massive question at coach and quarterback. We haven't seen it ever work.
I've got my 5. I'm curious how you have your 5. This is how I have it right now. This is just off the top of my head. I didn't put a whole lot of thought into this.
Let's not worry about 1. We have 1. The 1's the same.
Yeah, for sure. I have 5 the Commanders, 4 the Rams, 3 the Lions, 2 the Packers, 1 the Eagles.
That's probably right. It's probably the right way to do it. Only team missing maybe is the Bucks. Like,
I'm not mad at that.
The Bucks are a team that's probably going to win their division and was a playoff team.
Who are you moving out of the
year.
top 5 to put the Bucks in there, though? I'm not moving. I think all 5 of these teams are better than. I mean, I'm not the biggest sold on Washington. But I think you have to give them the respect heading into the season.
Lions may move out. I'm betting on.
I like Tampa Bay more than I like the Lions more than I like Tampa Bay.
I probably maybe the Rams because I don't really know. Talk about questions at quarterback. We haven't talked about this offseason. Like Matthew Stafford just started practicing 2 weeks ago. Like. I think the Bucks need to be in the top 5, but every team in the NFC has major questions. And not like questions like, the Chiefs have questions. Will their rookie left tackle hold up? I'm talking like major questions. So I think the Packers are 2, but man, it feels weird to say Jordan Love is is quarterbacking the second best team in the NFC.
I mean, now just thinking back, I mean, Jerry was mad this whole time and we just didn't believe him. Like, Jerry was legitimately mad because I wasn't buying it. Like, I will be the first one to tell you the way that I've talked about this, the way that I've viewed this, the way that it has been discussed on this show, there was no part of me that believed that we were heading towards this. This whole time, I thought it was nonsense. I thought they were just talking and yapping and they were doing Cowboys things and it's a big soap opera. I mean, that still is very much in play, but it just didn't feel real. It just felt like an act. And we normally see deadlines make deals. Like BK just said, every contract dispute this offseason was resolved around this time. Terry McLaurin was mad. Well, it got solved. James Cook was mad. It got solved. Anybody that has been, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett did the exact same thing publicly that Micah Parsons did. I don't want to play here anymore. Trade me. And it was like, no, I mean, they always work it out. It's the Cowboys. They always end up figuring this out. I mean, this was him last week.
In the spirit of not doing the old mother-dad deal. How many times have you seen the little rascal so clever go in there and mama told him, you're not going to get it. And goes in to daddy who only sees him after 5 in the afternoon, wants to love him, and says, you can have it, son. You can have that before dinner. And he goes back in and says, Mama, Daddy said I could have it. That's the old mom, dad, been around since the beginning of time. I'm not going to go for that here. That's what's happening.
You're not going for it?
I'm not going for it. No. But we've had a very, very strong negotiation. Now, by the way, frankly, it wouldn't have made any difference what the negotiation was. Guess who has to be comfortable for this to work?
Micah.
And who else?
You.
Hello. There's not room for a third. There's not room for a third. This will be a good one.
It ended up being a good one. I think Jerry was telling us this whole time, I'm mad. I'm frustrated. He was going around making the media rounds, and I think all of us laughed at him and I didn't believe him. I didn't believe that he was actually going to do this. I didn't believe that the Cowboys were in the business of trading their best player a week before the start of the season. Micah Parsons has played in 63 games and has 53 sacks. Like, we're not talking about a good pass rusher. We are talking about an elite premium pass rusher. We are talking about one of the 3 best pass rushers in the league, 4 best pass rushers. Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Micah Parsons. Like, we're talking about that category of player. Those guys are just not available. You don't get a chance at those kind of players outside of the draft. So this was a no-brainer to me if you're the Packers. I'd love to hear the answer. Maybe we never end up getting the answer to the question. Like, now, I know, like, they thought they were working on a deal, and then obviously there became a big split. Like, if you're going to trade Micah Parsons, you can't do it on August 28th. You got to do it on February 28th. You got to do it on March 28th. Like, how does it help you right now? You essentially traded Micah Parsons for Kenny Clark, and you got 2 lottery tickets for it down the road. What if the Packers end up winning their division and going to the NFC Championship game? You traded Micah Parsons for the 29th overall pick? Like, the Packers are usually good. You didn't trade them to the Tennessee Titans, where maybe it ends up being the 9th overall pick. Like, you traded them to a legitimately good team in your division that's on your schedule. How does this help the Cowboys be a better team? This just feels like it's about pride. Micah Parsons hurt your feelings. You offered him a deal. He didn't take the deal. You felt like you should have taken the deal. You got mad, and now you're overreacting. That's just what it feels like to me. We were negotiating. We were having good conversations. The conversation took a turn. I'm mad that this happened because according to Jerry Jones, they offered him a contract that was worth more than this. So, I assume that Micah Parsons wanted to take this deal from you guys. 4 years, $188 million, 130-something guaranteed. I believe Michael wanted to stay on the Cowboys. I don't think that Jerry made that a very viable option for him, and now he's playing for another team.
I'm like, I know we're on the radio supposed to be talking about it. Just I'm like back here awestruck that this happened.
I am too, a little bit.
And not only that it happened, like that in of itself is crazy. It just feels like the compensation is so comically low. Like, what do we think the Packers' 2 first-round picks are going to be? It's not like the Packers' 2 picks are going to be number 3 and number 7.
Yeah.
They're going to be, what, 22, 26? Like, and I'm being pretty liberal there. There's a possibility they're 30 and 31. Like, the Packers are a good team now, and they got better. Like, so you got 2 second-round picks, 2 late first-round picks, and a 29-year-old nose tackle? Like, you didn't even get a premium player. Like, if it was like, hey, we got Parsons, we gave up 2 first-round picks, and we got even that Deron Bland guy who was a really good corner when healthy, or we got Trayvon Diggs, like a premium player, I would be like, okay, that makes sense. Like for BK when he was on earlier, made the hypothetical of when you've done this for the Chiefs with Trent McDuffie. I wouldn't have, but I get it. Trent McDuffie's a premium player. A 29-year-old nose tackle. I mean, he's good. I'm not saying Kenny Clark's a bum, but
they said front end player. Like
that's
I was thinking, I was thinking a little bit. I was also like really racking my brain. Like, what other front end player like do they have? So
like
these are
the Khalil Mack deal. That compensation made sense to me. It was huge. This compensation feels like you're getting pennies on the dollar for a player of that value. The money's the only hang up.
So these are the last, I guess, since COVID. So the last 5 first-round selections for Green Bay. 29, 28, 13, 25, 23. So let's just, on average, you traded this for somewhere likely between 20 and 25, and you got a player who will be 30 years old this upcoming season. It's hard to say that you taxed Green Bay. That's the thing. Like, if you're going to convince me that we're trading Micah Parsons, I got to feel like I taxed you. You got 50-yard line premium tickets to the AFC Championship game. I got to feel like I got the better of a trade. Like, if you're not going to give me cash and I'm taking a trade from you, like, you're not going to outright buy the tickets from me. I got to feel like I won the trade. And maybe they end up doing it. Like, who knows how this ends up happening, right? But, I mean, 2 first-round picks, that's the starting point of what we're willing to accept. And then it's what more. I honestly rather have a second-round pick than have Kenny Clark, if those are my options. Like, if you're telling me if I'm the Cowboys and you're going to give me your first and second round pick this year, a 1 and a future 5, I'd much rather have that than have this player who's a fine player. I'm like you. I'm a little bit surprised. I feel like I got egg on my face because this entire time I've sort of laughed at this process, and I've never taken this process seriously because I just thought the Cowboys were just talking. You know how we all have that friend that just does a bunch of yapping? Like, all right. Like, you just don't believe them. Like, then you just wake up like, oh, he actually did it. No, you weren't just talking this time. Like, you normally just be, I'm surprised. I'm stunned. I can't believe you did it. That's kind of where I am. I feel kind of flat-footed that the Cowboys, they actually did this. And maybe not more so that they traded him. It's the who and how much they got back. You gave a team in the NFC a deal on a 26-year-old pass rusher. You didn't hit them over the head. You gave them a deal. You didn't even charge them, I would say, like, more than the rate. You know how we say, like, oh, you got to get, 80 cents on the dollar. Like, you didn't get 120 cents on the dollar from Micah Parsons. You got really close to what he's actually worth, which I would need something more to not have him on my roster for this upcoming season than you can't use the draft picks right now than Kenny Clark. I just need a little bit more if you're asking me to make this trade. We'll get back to college football. That is right around the corner. Nebraska, they play in about 3 hours here in Kansas City. There's a lot going on. Keep it locked right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Summer is here, and that means longer days and warm nights, rooftop dinners, spontaneous getaways, vacation season, and romance is in the air. But if you're dealing with erectile dysfunction, all that excitement, it can feel like pressure and like you're missing out on something. Well, look, you're not alone. And more importantly, there's help that's out there, especially with my friends over at Heartland Men's Health. They specialize in ED treatments that work even when the pills and the herbals don't, with a success rate of over 90%. Some guys even last an hour or more. Summer should feel unforgettable, romantic, confident, not stressful. If your sex life is just good enough, then why should you settle? Your first visit is just $99, including a full medical consult, testosterone, and a PSA test, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if it doesn't work right there in the office, then your visit is on the house. Visit the website, heartlandmenshealth.com. With offices in Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City, you can get back in action as soon as tomorrow. Don't let ED steal your summer away. Reclaim it, and you can do that with Heartland Men's Health.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Park & Go, the best deals on airport parking.
Don't fumble your airport parking. Score big with Park & Go. All covered parking, fast and free shuttles, and open 24/7. For the best deals in airport parking, reserve your spot now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family owned and fan approved.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Summer's almost over, but the heat is pressing on. If you've got battery trouble, stop by AutoZone for free battery testing. It may just need a charge, and we'll do that for free too. If you do need a battery, we've got options starting at just $89.99, and we'll recycle your old battery for free. Now that's a strong start. Don't miss the end of summer sale, now at AutoZone until September 22nd.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
eBay has reinvented vehicle buying. From click to curb, everything's covered. Ever try to buy a car online and end up in a parking lot with a stranger and some blind trust? That era is over. Now with Secure Purchase, eBay isn't just where you find your car. It's where you buy it, start to finish. Title, financing, registration, delivery, it's all built in. This is the modern way to buy your next ride on eBay. eBay. Things people love. Secure Purchase is powered by Caramel Dealer Services, LLC, an eBay subsidiary.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it.
But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Flooded bathroom? AC on the fritz? When things go wrong, you need reliable service fast. Call Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter and take $50 off any HVAC, plumbing, or electrical repair over $200. The pros at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to fix the problem. Over 40 years experience, more than 8,000 five-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee means you can trust Hamilton to bring comfort and calm back to your home. Visit callhamilton.com for detailed terms and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's almost over, but the heat is pressing on. If you've got battery trouble, stop by AutoZone for free battery testing. It may just need a charge, and we'll do that for free too. If you do need a battery, we've got options starting at just $89.99. And we'll recycle your old battery for free. Now that's a strong start. Don't miss the end of summer sale, now at AutoZone until September 22nd.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Downtown, you've got a stall that's slowing everything. 35 northbound at Front. It is the right lane blocked. Overland Park area, that two-car crash is still working. That's 69 northbound past 103rd in the right lane from the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center. I'm Val, 96.5 The Fan.
Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
I'm still flabbergasted. The Cowboys have traded Micah Parsons. We'll get to local here in a little bit. We'll have a little bit of fun. Binkley's chomping at the bit to talk a little college football on this Micah Parsons deal. We'll have him come sit in the 5 o'clock hour for a bit. We're just hanging out here, having a little fun. Happy that football is back, and the biggest news story of the NFL offseason has happened. The Cowboys, they have traded Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. The Cowboys have traded Micah Parsons. What the Packers have given up, is what I meant to say. Their first-round pick in 2026, their first-round pick in 2027, and defensive lineman Kenny Clark. Looking at his deal, this is from our friends over at SpotTrack. Kenny Clark will make $2.3 million this year. He will make $21.5 million and then $20 million in the next 2 seasons. Green Bay agrees to a deal with Micah Parsons, 4 years, $188 million extension. That includes $136 million guaranteed, $120 million full at signing. What a contract. Goodness gracious, Micah Parsons got the absolute bag from the Green Bay Packers. I think another part of this, Rob, is I guess I'm surprised twofold. I'm surprised that the Cowboys would trade him to an NFC team. We've been discussing that. And of all the organizations to make one of these kind of moves, it has never been the Packers in our lifetime. They're the team that they don't move up in the draft. They don't really spend big money in free agency. Like, the Packers have been the most steady organization of any team in the National Football League. This just blows my mind that the Packers were now the team that's willing to trade multiple first-round picks and give out the biggest NFL non-quarterback contract in the history of the league. We'll get back to Micah Parsons here coming up in just a bit. We'll also get to college football coming up momentarily. Nebraska is in town. It is believed that 65,000 Nebraska fans are making the drive down here. It's a very easy drive. If you live in Lincoln, it's a beautiful night. It's an August night. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's been a lot cooler than it usually is at this time of the year. So if you're making the drive down here from Lincoln, I don't really know if you could ask for a better trip than this one. You come down here, you get here early enough, you get some barbecue, you go look around, you go see the stadium, your team wins, you stay tonight and you drive home tomorrow. Maybe you stay for the weekend. Tomorrow's Nebraska night out at Kauffman Stadium. I mean, not a bad way to spend your Labor Day weekend if you are a Nebraska Cornhusker fans. All right, Rob, I want to let's take a quick break from Micah Parsons, and I want to get your opinion on this, and I want to ask you this. And I kind of hate that we don't have the text line. Like, I actually kind of miss the text line. Now that we don't have the text line for the day, I actually kind of miss the text line. There was a story I was reading from a study that was done. And in this study, they found out that on average, men spend an extra $15,000 a year if you are in a relationship, which 15 seems like a high number, but it's definitely more expensive. You got to think. Now you got to start factoring in it's double for everything. You used to just be able to go sit down and get a dinner for yourself. No, now you got to pay for dinner for you and for her. Now you got to buy 2 movie tickets. Maybe you didn't want to get popcorn and a drink, but Ashley wants that. So now you got to get her the popcorn and a drink. That starts adding up over time. $15,000. Now, Rob, let me ask you this. I've never asked you this question before, and this is a very important question. Have you ever gone Dutch before? Like on a date, not like a friendship outing. I mean, like you were really interested in a young lady. You really wanted to be with Amanda, but maybe you didn't have the funds at that time in your life. Have you ever gone half on the bill? Have you ever asked them to split the check?
I've never asked. It has been a thing that has happened. I'll go get drinks and an appetizer, and then it has come up like, oh, let's just split. So it comes out in the wash. But I've never sat down and been like, here's the game plan on how we're going to handle this. But it has happened, yes. I think it's more commonplace nowadays than it used to be.
See, I actually think that if she is the one that suggests if you should split the check, I actually don't think that's a good sign for you. I think that's actually a bad sign. And that she doesn't see things as being romantic if she is the one to suggest. Like if you invite her out to dinner and then you guys are having a nice dinner and you're at Bamboo Penny and Raw Sushi, you're having drinks, you're having conversation, you're mingling, you're vibing. Hey, things are off to a good start. Whenever the check comes around and they kind of put it right there in the middle, but sometimes they kind of put it a little closer to you because they expect you to pay it. I think in that situation, if she's insisted on, oh, no, let me pay my portion, let's split the check, I think that's a sign she's really not that into you. That's just me. Maybe I have outdated views on this, but that's how I feel. I feel like if she's insisting on, no, let me pay, I don't know if she's really into you like that.
I think it's very situational. Yeah, at Bamboo Penny or Aqua Penny.
And really quick, I also mean this early on. Now, if you've been on this is date 3 or date 4, and now she wants to, you now get the movie ticket, she gets the popcorn, I think that's different. I think on the first 1 or 2 times meeting this person, if she's insistent, I don't know if she's checking for you. I'm sorry.
I think you're right if the situation calls for it. The situation you lined out, you're at Bamboo Penny, you're at Aqua Penny, you're at a nicer restaurant. I'm not talking like, it has to be 801 Chop House, but you're at a nicer establishment. I agree with you. If she's like, let's jump off with a split. But like, if you go to Swordfish Tom's, I know you recently went there and you know how I love Swordfish Tom's, and you're like, hey, we're splitting our drinks tonight, and you know that going in, or you go to Boulevard or a place where it's a more casual atmosphere, and it's like a couple drinks and hang out, and she's splitting, I don't know that's a death sentence. At dinner, I do believe that's a death sentence.
I want to read this tweet to you guys very quickly. This has nothing to do with what we were just talking about. I'm still just fascinated by this trade for Micah Parsons. So this is from Peter Schrager. He's at ESPN now, used to be at NFL Network. You guys are obviously aware of who Peter Schrager is. He tweeted this out. It doesn't matter if you agree with it or not. Jerry Jones wasn't going to be bullied around, and things went sideways. He didn't want to play the player, $47 million, so he traded him. It could end up being one of the dumber deals that he's ever made, but Jerry could make that trade with no hesitation because he can. A couple of things. Like, one of the problems for the Cowboys, and I know they can't do anything about it. You own the team, you're the general manager and the president, is you have allowed one person to have so much power and his ego has gotten so big and there is no checks and balances where, you know how the saying is, it's not personal, it's just business. Well, I think good organizations have the ability to detach the personal side from it and just seemingly only negotiate in the business side. Now, I know it's a little bit different situation, but Kansas City had an issue with a star defensive player. I think that Kansas City obviously loves Chris Jones. He is going to be in the Ring of Honor. He is one day going to go into Canton, Ohio, and it will be a celebration of Chiefs fans to go support him. The Chiefs never allowed that situation to get personal, and they always detached it, and this is business. This is how we function. This is what we are offering you. We love you. We appreciate you. But this is how we operate in a financial sense. And if that's not good enough for you, we're not going to go back and forth in the media. We're not going to put you down. We're not going to publicly discuss your contract situation. We're going to hold firm until you come back. And eventually, Chris Jones came back. They negotiated the deal to give him a chance to get some of that money back on the back end, and that was it. I think what really hurts the Cowboys is just the emotions of Jerry Jones. You got your feelings hurt, and now you acted irrational. Well, now we got to trade you. Well, wait. And you also don't have anybody else in your circle that can stand up to you. Your son is your right hand, and it is obvious the kind of personality that he gets to coach the team. Think about their last three coaches. Jason Garrett, Mike McCarthy. Like, these just don't seem like very fiery, in-your-face, no, put my foot down individuals. Watching this Cowboys documentary, and we've known this, but now that you see it, like, I don't know if you make this trade with Jimmy Johnson there. Like, I think Jimmy Johnson is, no, we're not trading our best player a week before the start of the season for draft picks in April of next year when it doesn't help our team right now. Like, Jerry is at the center of every issue that the Cowboys have. You can't do anything about it. He owns the team, so you get to call the shots. But when I see this, and it's agree with it or not, Jerry wasn't going to be bullied and things went sideways. We're talking about a business here. We got to remove the personal and the feelings from this, and we got to operate like a business. And it is not in your best interest as a business or a football team to trade your best player a week before the first game of the season. If you were going to do that, you should have done that in March, and you would have had the 2 first-round picks to maneuver to help your team for this season. It's just the logic behind it. It's just very silly. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by New Century Dealers. 2 wrecks down south, 435 eastbound at Metcalf. It is the right lane blocked by a wreck with 3 cars. And then you've got 35 southbound before 119th. This crash is in the left lane from the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center. I'm Val, 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. Build a customized renter's policy with American Family Insurance so you can protect your tandem bike on the go. Thief! Oh, he is struggling with that 2-seater. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Some exclusions may apply. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob!
When your name's on the paint job, your primer better hold up. Painters trust Kills primers for serious adhesion, stain blocking, and a finish that lasts. Now, the full Kills lineup is available exclusively at the Home Depot. Need it fast? Get same-day or next-day delivery, or order online and pick it up in-store. Kills primers. Pro results. Faster. The Home Depot. If you're a pro, you know.
Hello everyone, it's me, Vanna White. I'm so excited to tell you about the new Wheel of Fortune instant ticket from the Kansas Lottery. You could win up to $25,000 instantly, or enter non-winning tickets into Play On for a chance to win a VIP trip to Los Angeles to play in the Mega Money Maker event on the set of Wheel of Fortune. You could win some big money, so go ahead, scratch and win with the new Wheel of Fortune instant ticket from the Kansas Lottery.
This sports report is brought to you by Bet365.
This hour's sports report is brought to you by Bet365. Bet365 is officially live in the Sunflower State. Right now, new Bet365 customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus in partnership with Kansas Star Casino.
This October, the whole family can ride along for the wildest weekend in Kansas City. PBR Outlaw Days. October 3rd through the 5th at T-Mobile Center. Cheer on your Kansas City Outlaws as they battle the world's best on the dirt, under the lights. KansasCityOutlaws.com. Get your tickets now at PBR.com. Kansas City Outlaws. All grit and no quit.
A blood emergency has been declared in the Kansas City region, and donors are urgently needed. Now through August 26th, donate with Community Blood Center and be entered to win tickets to the Chiefs home opener. Visit SaveALifeNow.org or call 877-468-6844 to schedule your donation today.
Men, the summer is here. Longer days, warmer nights, and romance in the air. Intimate dinners, walks on the beach, dancing in the moonlight. But if you have erectile dysfunction, you know it can ruin romance, both for you and the one you love. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you have ED, don't let another summer go by without getting treated. Because intimacy is one of the greatest things in life, and fear of not being able to perform should not be something you have to deal with. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated tens of thousands of men. Our protocols work when others don't, and we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. You could even last up to an hour or more and perform like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
FanDuel is giving you a reason to lock into the college football season early. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's right, $300 in bonus bets to use all over the app. You can use those bonus bets on Week 1 lines, Heisman futures, over-unders, player props, whatever you've got circled on the college football calendar. FanDuel is easy to use, safe, and when you win, you'll get paid instantly. Just head to FanDuel.com/Alex and sign up to get started. That's FanDuel.com/Alex. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First, online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by New Century Ram Dodge Jeep in Paola. Why buy your next vehicle at New Century Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Paola? Simple. Honest guys that don't need to add big city overhead into the price. Search New Century Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram to see the complete inventory.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can watch every show, plus video clips and shorts, all right from your phone, desktop, or tablet. The Fan's YouTube channel at 965 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. I apologize if you've been listening. The show maybe hasn't been as local as I would have liked. You know, we're, 8 days away from the first Chiefs game of the season. The Royals have a very important home series coming up, but for good reason. The biggest NFL trade in quite some time happened earlier today. If you missed it, the Cowboys, they have traded Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. They have traded Micah Parsons for 2 first-round picks. They have also traded him for Kenny Clark. Micah Parsons is now the highest-paid defensive player in the National Football League. 4 years, $188 million. He got $136 million guaranteed. He got $120 million guaranteed upon signing. This is the largest non-quarterback contract in the National Football League. It started with a report that the Cowboys were interested in listening. And then it started to kind of pencil in that the Packers were one of the teams that were very, very interested in making a trade to go get Micah Parsons. A couple of things. I'm just surprised that this happened. We usually see that deadlines make deals. A deadline did make a deal this time, just not the deal that I thought. This entire time, Jerry has told us how open he was to paying Micah Parsons. He was just frustrated at the way things have played itself out behind the scenes. Now, we'll certainly get a big story and we'll get more reports and we'll get more information on how this played itself out, but I would love to know how it got so bad between the two sides. If you believe Jerry Jones, he offered Micah Parsons $200 million to sign with the Cowboys. And obviously that did not happen. So it went from you offering him $200 million, you saying last week that you were not interested in trading Micah Parsons, that he was going to be a Cowboy this season, to now you trading him to a team in your conference. That's another part in this that just, it doesn't really add up to me. A, you traded him in the NFC. B, you traded him to a good team in the NFC. We're not talking about there's a chance that the Cowboys are going to get back the 9th overall pick in next year's NFL draft. We're talking about the Packers are usually a good team. They hover around the postseason. Maybe they make a run. Maybe they end up making a little bit of noise. But we're talking about one of the premier franchises and organizations in the National Football League. That's where you chose to trade him to. The last time that the Cowboys had a playoff game, they lost to the Green Bay Packers. So you know the kind of organization that they are. And you traded them to that team with really no hope of getting a top 10 pick. If you're going to trade a player like Micah Parsons, you need to feel that you overwhelmingly won the trade. It doesn't need to be a doubt. It doesn't need to be a conversation. Oh, yeah, we had to trade Micah Parsons, but look at what we got in return. You got a standard package. 2 first-round picks, that's the jumping off point. That's not the destination. That's not the destination at all. That's the starting conversation. So the fact that the Cowboys did this to a team that's in the NFC, a contending team in the NFC, and we don't think that they overwhelmingly won the trade is a problem. It's a big problem. That's not a good trade for the Cowboys. Now let's see how it plays itself out. Another part of this deal is if you were going to trade Micah Parsons, you got to do that in March. For whatever reason, if you came to the conclusion that Micah Parsons cannot be on the 2025 Cowboys, he can't be on the team in June, July, and most of August. He can't be walking to practice, but he's not there because he's got a back issue. That cannot be the case. We're talking about one of the 5 best defensive players in the league, a guy who has played 4 seasons in the league and had double-digit sacks every time. Number one, how did you even let it get to this point? You should have signed him last offseason. Why did you even let it get to year 4? Then it gets to year 4. You still haven't signed an agreement. You kind of got to make a decision about what you want to do, and then you end up trading him to the Green Bay Packers. I honestly don't know if you could handle a contract dispute a contract negotiation, and a trade request worse than what we've seen the Cowboys do in the last 30 days. This was bad at every single turn, from the PR, the way that this was handled, to going around and making the media rounds the way that you have for the last couple of weeks. If you're Jerry Jones, from every single part of it was an absolute fumble on the Cowboys. An awful situation for them. Earlier, I asked Rob how would he rank the teams in the NFC. This is how I ranked it. Eagles 1, Packers 2, Lions 3, Rams 4, Commanders 5. The AFC just feels a lot more concrete than I think the NFC does. Once you get past the Philadelphia Eagles, my answer is I don't know. Maybe you still think the Lions are the best team in the NFC, not named the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll certainly listen to that. Maybe you really like Tampa Bay. I like some of the moves that they've made. Washington is a team that people have great expectations. Rob is still a believer very much in the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, that division just got a whole lot more interesting, and it was already interesting. You already could have made a case that every team in that division could have won the division. And now you throw one of the best defensive players in the league into the mix. So a wild day in the National Football League. I would say this is the biggest trade since Tyreek Hill, and the biggest, I would say, after draft trade since Khalil Mack. This is a massive, massive trade. These kind of players are not available for you to go get. If you don't draft Micah Parsons, you don't really have a chance, realistically, at getting that kind of player. How the Cowboys let it get to this point, how they let him walk out the door, how they didn't really take advantage and really tax the other team, all of it, I think, was a severe misplay by the Dallas Cowboys. Binkley's going to join us in studio coming up in just a bit. We're going to talk a little NFL, a little college. There's a lot of football that's going on today. Rob, we are happy. I'm happy. I don't know if you're happy. I'm happy. I'm happy that the Nebraska Cornhuskers are here. It's always cool to have these kind of college football games in your city. I was thinking this. It doesn't matter what conference Missouri is in. It also doesn't matter what other changes the Big 12 goes through. This is not the Big 12 that our parents grew up with. This is not the Big 12 that you and I grew up with. I don't know about you. I'm an old Big 12 North fan. You know, Missouri, Kansas, K-State, Iowa State, Nebraska, Colorado. Man, there was something really cool about the Big 12 North. It was something cool about all of those teams and all of those universities being within driving distance of each other. It was easy to just get in the car if you wanted to go to Ames or wanted to go to Lincoln or wanted to head over to Columbia. It was easy to go to those games. That is not what the Big 12 is. That's not really what college sports is anymore. But as I was thinking about this and Nebraska coming into town, and then you told me how many Nebraska fans are planning on making the trip and coming down to Kansas City, it just reminded me that I don't care what is going on. Kansas City will always be a Big 8 city. It will always be an old Big 12. I mean, it's still a Big 12 city. Don't get me wrong. It's not an SEC town by any means, but I don't know, man. The Big 12 is kind of weird. I mean, I know Kansas is in it and K-State's in it, and that's great. They also got Cincinnati in the league. They also got West Virginia in the league. I don't know about you. It's really tough for me to embrace that Arizona and Arizona State are in the conference, and BYU is in the conference, and UCF. Who are these teams? Have you ever gone somewhere like with your friends? You're kind of looking around like, yo, who are these people? That's kind of how the Big 12 feels now. You know, when we used to have the Big 12 tournament down at, or the Big 8 tournament down at Kemper and, 10, 15 years ago with the Big 12 tournament in Sprint Center, it felt like you knew everybody. Oh, there's Iowa State. Oh, there's Nebraska. Oh, all these schools made sense. Then you were kind of like looking at to see if Baylor was going to bring anybody, Texas Tech, if they were going to bring somebody. Now you're just sitting here like, what? Who are you guys? You're with where? Central Florida? How is Central Florida and Arizona State in the same conference? That doesn't even make sense. Kansas is playing BYU in a football game, and it's a conference game. Like this is not what I envision the Big 12 being. But you can always sell us on an old school Big 8. Always. Missouri, Kansas, Kansas State, Nebraska, Iowa State. It will always matter. So that's what today is to me. I'm not a Nebraska fan in the least bit. In fact, I hope they lose so we can make fun of them tomorrow because I kind of do like making fun of Nebraska losing when they lose. But you know what? I'm sure it's going to be a great night out there. They've got one of the young star quarterbacks in college football. It's a beautiful night. It's an iconic stadium. They're bringing a lot of people to come down and celebrate the start of college football season. I'm sure it's going to be a great night. But I just wanted to remind you guys that deep down at our core, doesn't matter what school you cheer for in the area, we always will love the Big 8. We are always going to have a love for the old Big 12 North because college sports, it was just more fun when that was the league, when that was what we were a part of.
We have talked about it ad nauseum on this show, and we will continue to. Regionality is what makes college sports fun. I know as a Missouri fan, you don't like Arkansas. I get it. But what's the game on your schedule this year that you're like, I cannot afford as a fan to lose that one. That one will hurt me the most. It's not Arkansas. It's not South Carolina. It's not Oklahoma. It's Kansas. As a Kansas fan, I have no feeling toward, oh man, West Virginia is coming to town on September 20th. That's a big one. I don't care. Oh, they got a tough road game at UCF on the 4th. I don't care. They play K-State, they play Iowa State, they play Missouri this year. That's what matters. If you're a Nebraska fan, you're out at Arrowhead tailgating right now, and you're listening to the show, I know that you guys don't like Iowa. I get it. You don't like Iowa. But you know what you probably hate more than Iowa? Oklahoma. You probably really hate Colorado a lot more than you hate Illinois. I'm just guessing. Regionality is what makes college sports great, and if you're out at Arrowhead tonight or you're in the area or you're watching the game on ESPN, you will see a full stadium or a near full stadium because Nebraska fans and proximity matters, and games in Kansas City are a bigger deal to Nebraska fans. There will be more Nebraska fans at this game than Nebraska fans that go to see them play Rutgers or Washington or whatever have you. Regionality is the king in college sports, and it's sad. Very sad that conference realignment killed that because Missouri fans, you can say you care about the SEC, but when you guys are playing Vanderbilt, you don't feel the same way as when you're playing Iowa State or Oklahoma. You just don't. And Kansas and Kansas State fans, I know you feel the same.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that we just, I don't know, maybe didn't factor in, just didn't think about, and this is just not how people discuss conferences anymore. When you are a part of a conference, you are a part of a community. If you think about the way that people talk about old Big East basketball, they created a community. It is a group of schools that are all regionally tied, that play each other, that there is a connection when that happens. The old Big 8, the Big 12 North, it was a community. And we don't think about it in that way, but that's really what it is. Right now, the Big 12 is not a community. Not even close to a community. It's just a random collection of teams from around the country. And I get why the Big 12 had to operate and do business that way. I'm not putting down the way that the Big 12 had to survive. You could have been the Pac-12 that they don't have anything. You don't have a random collection of teams. You don't have a community. You ain't got nothing if you're the Pac-12. But college football, college athletics in general, why it matters so much is it's really important to communities. And it connects people. And they have just chosen the commerce in every single turn. They have turned over college athletics to ESPN, Fox, and CBS and just let them do whatever they want with it. The NFL, they still keep that. You don't think of a division in the NFL as a community, but it is. You love going on those trips. You love now taking the Vegas trip every year, and you call it Arrowhead West, and you go out there and take it over. Think about all the matchups that they've had with the Broncos over the years. Like, that stuff really matters. It's part of the storytelling and why we like sports so much. That is not the interest of college athletics really at any point anymore. Very happy to look to my right and see Jay Binkley joining us in studio. Binkley, there is a million things that I want to talk to you about. Let's just start with this.
Big football day.
Absolutely. Let's just start with this. What do you make of the Micah Parsons trade?
I was shocked a little bit because usually you think these things drag out and they eventually go the Cowboys' way. You often have to wait till the first of the season, like Dak and CeeDee Lamb. But so I was surprised that it actually got to the point of contention, whether they had a handshake agreement for $40 million, and he didn't want that because he wanted more. Clearly, he got more.
Not even close. He got 47.
And Jerry needs to know that these guys use their agents. I mean, that's what these agents are hired for, is to do that. But yeah, I was a little bit surprised it went to the Packers. I was surprised at the draft compensation because 5 of the last 6 years, the Packers have drafted in the 20s. And Micah Parsons wasn't going to make them better. I mean, their odds for Super Bowl went straight up on FanDuel, and the Cowboys went down, of course. But Ira Myrav had said that 5 of the last 6 years, and he's right, because the Packers are always picking there in the 20s and towards the end. But it's going to be a good team this year. They're going to be picking at the bottom of the 20s too. So sometimes you look at Laramie Tunsil's deal, and it wasn't first-round picks involved in that. When you look at all the draft compensation, it might have been more. Even Jay Cutler, going back to those kind of trades, this is very similar compensation levels and draft picks that the Cowboys received.
To me, if you were going to trade Micah Parsons, like, it needs to be an overwhelming feeling that you won the trade and you really hit Green Bay over the head. Like, you have one of the most valuable commodities in the National Football League. He's not a quarterback, so obviously there's 10, 12 players that you'd rather have other than Micah Parsons. But in his prime 26-year-old pass rusher who has played in 63 games and has 58 sacks, that's about as valuable of a commodity that you could have in the National Football League.
He's a game changer. He's a game changer.
You got to really feel like you fleeced Green Bay. Like, that's how you got to feel. And to me, only getting 2 first-round picks, that's the starting point. That's not the end. I need 2 first-round picks, a 2 and a 5 if we're trading Micah Parsons.
And losing Kenny Clark was big. But think about this, though. They have 2 players now taking over $100 million. Slap of that cap. I know the salary cap went up to $279 million this year, but between Jordan Love and Micah Parsons, that's over $100 million that they're paying per year for just 2 players. So it's all your eggs in one basket with the Green Bay Packers, because with Micah and Jordan Love, because Jordan Love just got $55 million. So you had that and then the 47 of Micah Parsons. That's a lot of money to be spending on 2 players.
I'm just a little surprised that the Patriots weren't more involved in this conversation. It just felt like a Patriots kind of move. Quarterback on a rookie deal, AFC team. You have the available cap space. You mentioned Vrabel, the defensive-minded head coach. If you had told me at the beginning of the day Micah Parsons is getting traded, I would have said, oh, yeah, he's going to the Patriots.
You know who should have done it, but they wouldn't do it because they're cheap and they're very bad at drafting and doing everything else, was the Bengals. They're the last team in the NFL to sign their first-round pick the last 2 years. And they've not been very good. With Shamar Stewart and Amarius Mims the year before, it wouldn't hurt the Bengals to give up first-round picks. Then they wouldn't have to worry about signing him and taking Micah Parsons, putting him on the opposite side of Trey Hendrickson. Can you imagine improving that defense to go along with that offense had the Bengals been the one to make this move instead of the Packers?
I mean, they barely wanted to pay their own players.
I know.
Now they're interested in paying other teams' players.
They're way too cheap to do this, but it gets them off the hook from getting first-round picks because they clearly don't like signing them.
Right now, we're joined in studio by Jay Binkley. I wrote down how I would rank the NFC. Eagles 1, Packers 2, Lions 3, Rams 4, Commanders 5. How do you see the NFC?
I like the Commanders a lot, just like last year when I told you to look out for the Commanders. So I'd put the Commanders behind the Eagles. I like the Eagles, then the Commanders, then the Packers, and then I'd go Lions, and I'd go Buccaneers there at 5. They've won the NFC South for 4 straight years. I like with Evans there and Godwin. I like the drafting Emeka Egbuka, and I like the way Mayfield's playing. So, and winning their division 4 straight years. I think the Bucs are on the sun. They lost last year in the divisional round, so the Bucs would be my 5th team.
Now that I'm really, really thinking about this, there's a lot of things that stun me about this. Why would you trade Micah Parsons to a team that's in contention? Why would you trade him to a team that's in contention in the NFC that's on your schedule in the first month of the season? Like, they play each other week 4 of the NFL season. Why did you not get more compensation from Green Bay that you ended up? What other teams were involved in the Micah Parsons trade? Like, would it have been better for you to take 2 first-round picks from the Chargers than take them from the Packers? So, like, there's just so many things, but I think you and I are at least on this same page. I can't believe Jerry let it get this bad with the players so important. Like, for the most part, and we can all say what we want about Jerry Jones, they usually don't do this. They always figure it out. I'm watching the documentary. Whenever Emmitt Smith was unhappy, they figured out a contract with Emmitt Smith. When Des Bryant was unhappy, they figured it out. When Dak, DeMarcus Lawrence, we can go up and down the list. They usually don't just trade superstar players. They're not trading their best player a week before the start of the season. The fact that they let it get this bad is very, very telling.
It's very telling, especially with Jerry Jones, because this is his ego. And he's being looked upon by fans in the NFL like, man, this was a bad trade. You know, this is Dallas trading Luke all over again. I mean, Jerry Jones now looks bad because of his trade. Usually he does things to look good. He always wants to look good, right? America's team with his Dallas Cowboys. And this makes him look bad this whole deal. He was their best player. I know CeeDee Lamb and Dak and all that's there. Micah Parsons is their best player. This guy is elite at what he does, and usually, top 15 picks are the guys that get to the quarterback. When you look at the end of the year, the top 20 sackers, it's the 1 through 15 type of guys. That is the toughest position in football to replace besides the quarterback is elite edge rushers like Micah Parsons. So, yeah, it's a huge mistake. And, Patrick Mahomes is probably celebrating too. Didn't have to face him on Thanksgiving.
For sure.
We're not going to be sitting there at 3 o'clock watching the Cowboys and the Chiefs and thinking, oh, man, they got blocked Micah Parsons, Juwan Taylor, they're sitting there looking at that, and Josh Simmons and these guys going, well, we don't have to worry about Micah Parsons anymore now, do we?
Yeah, that Cowboys, they have 4-8 heading into that game written all over it.
It's Turkey Day special.
100%. I do want to get to college football coming up here in just a bit. We were talking about the story, so I want to get your opinion on it. On average, studies say that men spend $15,000 more a year when you're in a relationship. You got to factor in, all of the things, an extra vacation, an extra all of these things.
Yeah.
Now you're paying for another person. Are you somebody that goes Dutch whenever you go on dates?
Not usually. Don't usually go Dutch. But I understand the expense of it all. And then when you throw kids in the equation, I'm past that point because they get really expensive as they keep getting older. But when they're in school and they want to go to private school or whatever, it's a big expense. But I 100% agree with that. But no, I typically don't do Dutch. Do you do that?
No, I don't. I was just curious if you did.
I usually take that check. Hey, I'll pay for it. If I invited somebody out, I pay for it. It's the way you do things if you're invited. Just like if your neighbor gives you football tickets, right? You just give them to them, man. You don't sit there and give them to them and say, oh, that's actually $150, my friend, or $200. No, I ask you if you wanted tickets. You take them. So if you ask someone dinner, you pay for it.
Coming up on the other side, we'll transition. We'll talk a little college football. We'll also get your thoughts on the 53-man roster for the Kansas City Chiefs. We got Bink in studio talking football. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
The last blast of summer, the last home series, the last Let's Go Royals, the last Hot Dog Derby, the last 2015 Champs bobblehead, the last Fireworks Friday, the last Bring Out the Blue t-shirt, the last Theme Night bobblehead, the last chance to see your boys in blue in person in the 2025 regular season. It's Royals Blue Jays, Friday through Sunday, September 19th through the 21st. The last thing you want to do is miss it. Visit Royals.com/tickets.
How about those Chiefs? Chiefs Kingdom for the first time ever. The Chiefs play on Red Friday. Get ready for a kickoff like no other with our limited edition, one-of-a-kind How About Those Chiefs flag available on Friday, September 5th at KC Area McDonald's for $5 or shop.chiefs.com for $10, benefiting Ronald McDonald House Charities of Kansas City. For more information, visit Chiefs.com/Red Friday. And make sure you tune into our game in Brazil against the Chargers that night at 7 p.m.
It's the summer sales event at Robside Ford. Your chance to upgrade without the stress. Robside joins me now. Rob, what's the offer?
0% financing, $0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days on nearly the entire Ford lineup.
That's a serious summer deal.
Sure is. And unlike your brisket last weekend, these deals aren't dry.
Okay, that's fair. These savings are definitely juicy.
And we're backing it up with 2 years of complimentary maintenance, a non-commissioned sales team, and top trade-in values.
No pressure, no gimmicks at Robside Ford. The way car buying should be.
We're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 Google reviews, and a better experience from start to finish.
So skip the smoke and the dry meat. This summer, start at Robside Ford.
135th and State Line or robsightc.com. 0% financing, $0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and 2 years of complimentary maintenance.
Robside Ford, buy right, drive happy. And next time, maybe stick to potato salad.
It's time to build that dream deck over at All Weather Decks. Schedule a free estimate today at 913-206-1974 or online at allweatherdecks.net. All Weather Decks, the right deck at the right price.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know in making the most of your home, DIY doesn't just stand for do it yourself. It also means dream it yourself. And we're here to help protect the dreams you're building. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Want to see the 2015 World Champion Royals swing it again? Come out to Home Run Derby X at Kauffman Stadium for a reunion on September 13th. Eric Hosmer, Mike Moustakas, Alex Gordon, Ben Zobrist, and Lorenzo Cain take their cuts against reps from the Blue Jays and the Mets. Come join the action for a night of massive dingers, slick defense, and target-smashing thrill. You don't want to miss it. Get your tickets now at MLB.com/HRDXKC. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to the end of summer sale at AutoZone. We're celebrating the end of long days and short nights with big deals for a short time, like car wash. Right now, you can save 20% on the Armor All Complete Car Wash Kit. Need new brakes? Duralast brake pads are free with the purchase of Duralast rotors. We've also got oil deals and more. We're ending the summer right with the end of summer sale at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
If Old Spice Deep Sea Super Hydration Body Wash were music, what would it sound like? Start with the deep sounds of Old Spice's ocean waves and kelp. Layer on the smooth, renewing moisture. You wouldn't hear any parabens or phthalates because Old Spice Deep Sea hasn't got any. But you would hear that vitamin B3 for healthier looking skin. So while your regular body wash sounds like this, Old Spice sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Car wreck? Get the money you deserve. Mike's got this.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. Choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know.
I do know. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this.
816-888-7500.
Mike's got this.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. A wreck in Independence. It's 435 southbound, just past Truman. It's the right lane blocked, and down south, still there, the 3-car crash, 435 eastbound at Metcalf. In the right lane from the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center on Val 96.5 The Fan.
Be sure to follow The Drive on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, so much to get into. We got Binkley in studio. Let's talk a little Chiefs 53-man roster. We'll also talk a little college football here as well. All right, let's start with the 53-man roster. I would say two things surprised me. The first thing that surprised me is I thought they would be a little bit more active in trying to get another running back.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're happy with their running back room. They kept Elijah Mitchell. They got Clyde Edwards-Helaire from the practice squad. Like, this is the unit, at least for the time being. The other thing that surprised me is I didn't think that Mike Pennell was on the roster bubble. Just, he's been a part of this team. He has a role on this team. He was running with the ones not that long ago. Now, it sounds to me like they're doing some funny money with the roster math. If they need him, they'll bring him back. He's shown that he can kind of be ready to go. So I do think that Mike Pennell will play for the Chiefs at some point this season. But I'm a little bit surprised that his spot wasn't one that was guaranteed.
I think when Derek Nottie came to the Chiefs, someone that could play that nose tackle, that one technique, that made the difference for Mike Pennell. I think they looked at that younger guy in Derek Nottie that's been here. Not that Mike Pennell hasn't been here either, but I think that's kind of where it went. But Robert Tonyan, a lot of people were upset with that. That was the Chiefs' leading receiver through the preseason. But now he's on the 53. He was elevated up to it today. So it was a numbers game with guys like Tonyan that got moved to 53. I am surprised that Pennell wasn't at least still part of the practice squad or something like that, because now anybody can obviously grab him because he's not getting those checks, because practice squad checks are pretty nice in the NFL.
Right now, we're talking to Binkley, just going through some of the top stories for the team.
The receivers do concern me, though. That does concern me from the 53.
Let's talk about it. I have kind of put the responsibility on Hollywood Brown during this period.
Yeah.
We've never seen what a healthy Hollywood Brown looks like in this offense. He played 2 regular seasons. He played 5 games last year.
He's missed 24 games his last 3 years. Yeah, I get it. He missed 15 last year. Okay. Well, he missed 9 before that the last couple of years. He just doesn't play a full season. Even a couple of years ago when he played 16 and 17, he still had to miss their week 10 game in Arizona. So, yeah, on paper, you look at it and say, well, Hollywood Brown's going to be back and he's going to be fine. Well, you can't always count on that either. I mean, you can't count on that. This is a guy that was hurt on his first catch in preseason last year. You can't catch on. Jalen Royals, it's hit or miss, whether you believe, some reports say, well, he's going to be on IR. Some say he'll be okay.
I don't think he's playing week 1.
I don't think he is either. And this could be an IR move because, it's that knee tendonitis, something like that. And keep in mind, he did miss 5 games last year with Utah State. Now, he was healthy enough for the Combine, was healthy enough to participate in the Senior Bowl last year. But, yeah, these things kind of concern you going forward because you look on paper and you think, all right, you're going into game 1 without Rashee Rice. You may not have Jalen Royals. Okay, you can have Juju. Okay, you're going to have Xavier Worthy, which I'm expecting a better year, even better than Xavier Worthy last year. And Xavier Worthy last year was a pretty good receiver down towards the end of the schedule last year. It was great, actually, so I'm expecting better things from him. So it's going to be different when you're losing a Rice and then you don't have your first-round pick, because that was going to be one of the guys, and this is why I wanted a later suspension for Rice, not initially with these games, because Royals would be acclimated more with the offense and be ready to roll and step in, for Rashee Rice and what he did. And, of course, I've always been advocating for Keenan Allen as well. I know your thoughts on Keenan. But I was for it because he did have 770 yards last year. That would have finished second on the Chiefs, only behind Kelsey. So, yeah, he is older, but he's a great slot receiver. That is what Rice played half on the outside, half on the slot. And I get it, man. But it's a case of emergency, break glass. It wasn't going to cost you a ton for 1 year. Does he want to go to a spot where he could play all year? Because clearly he's going to play more for the Chargers. But with the Chiefs receiver situation, maybe he'd play a lot more than he thinks he would.
Yeah, I just was kind of looking at it where, with Xavier Worthy, I think we at least know what the floor is for Worthy. I don't know what the ceiling is with Worthy. Last year, I thought he developed very well in the second half of the season. In the first half of the season, the timing was just a little bit off. I think his football IQ of where the sticks were and where the sidelines were, maybe he ends up getting less targets this year, but ends up being more impactful because he can hit a couple of those home runs down the field where they just couldn't really do it last year. I kind of have an idea what Tyquan Thornton could be in this offense. I think best case scenario is he's DeMarcus Robinson. He's a guy that can have 460 yards on 65 targets this year, and I think you're more than happy if that's what you turn him into. There's such a range to me of what Hollywood Brown can be. You're right. Hollywood Brown could play in 5 games this year and then he's gone. Hollywood Brown could play in 14 games and have 900 yards receiving this year. I genuinely have no clue of what he can be, and that's why I think he's the biggest X factor on the team, period. Maybe you could argue the offensive line, the left tackle, or the left guard. But if you were asking me what's the widest variance for a player that we can kind of measure their success, I think it's Hollywood Brown.
And I like Tyquan a lot. He was the 50th overall selection a couple years ago in the draft in the second round, so it's not like a 6th or 7th round undrafted guy. He just had to work on his route tree, and clearly he's done that in Kansas City. He is a guy that can take the top off the defense. It is a guy that back the safeties up and free out more of the room for the running game and the tight ends, because I think the Chiefs were in a lot of 12 and 13 personnel with 2 and 3 tight ends until Rice is back. But it is a guy that can back that defense up, so I do like that. And Xavier Worthy's more than a one-trick pony. He's more than just a speed guy. I think that didn't do him any favors when he runs a 4.21, because everybody's like, oh, the Chiefs just want the fastest guy in the draft. Well, he also led Texas in yards and receptions for 3 straight years. And 2 of those 3 years, he led them in touchdowns and finished second that other year. So Xavier Worthy can play football, and I really like what he can do.
Is there anything to talk about with the defense? And I only ask that because the Chiefs offense, there's question marks, right? There's a question mark at left tackle. There's a question mark at left guard. We're mentioning Hollywood Brown. You might feel good about them, but you can't say they're a period or an exclamation point. They're question marks heading into the season.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's any question mark right now on the defense? Their defense is healthy. They return just about everybody. They got the best defensive coordinator in the National Football League. Like, to me, we're talking about one of the 5 best units in the NFL, a unit that I expect them to excel from the word go this year. I don't have many questions, concerns, hesitations. I don't feel anything negative about the defense.
No, I don't. I really like some of the draft picks, like Noah Williams on defense there. You know, they'll be playing some corner here and there with the Chiefs. I really like him and Ashton Gelati. I love his motor and what he can do. And I love the way he can pressure the quarterback. The 60 pressures last year in college, 58 the year before. Did lead college football in that, but he's got one of these motors, so I'm excited to see him play. But no, I don't have a lot of question marks on this defense. I mean, they want to shore up a little bit about their, because they've got guys that can definitely get to the quarterback from the defensive line, but stepping the run, it's one reason they brought back Derek Nade.
Now I'm going to ask you to look inside a crystal ball for just a little bit. This might be tough, but let's say the Chiefs, for whatever reason, don't win the division. Who wins the division?
I'd say Denver. Denver was right there with the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. Listen, it took that block kick, right? And, forget about what happened at the end of the year.
Yeah,
the Chiefs back. It doesn't count. But they were really competitive when the Chiefs were good. I mean, that was a team that went wire to wire with the Chiefs down to a block kick at the end. So I think they're ahead of the game. I think Sean Payton's a better coach, the second best coach in the division right now. I don't think Harbaugh's, too far behind. Pete Carroll's a great head coach too. He's won at the college level. He's won at the pro level. We'll see what he can do. But the coaches in this division are great. But the Chiefs did win this division by 4 games last year. But I think Denver, roster-wise, and I look at the draft, and I see these running backs going in the first round, like the Chargers with Hampton and Genty with the Raiders. Like, Denver was the only team to try to draft to stop the team that's been winning the division 9 straight years. They drafted Jahdae Barron, the cornerback out of Texas. You put him on the other side of Surtain. I mean, that's the way you slow down Mahomes. It's with cornerbacks. It's with edge rushers. It's not drafting running backs. So I don't know what the Chargers are doing and what the Raiders are doing. But Denver, I thought, drafted better.
Coming up on the other side, we'll talk a little college football. Tonight, we have Nebraska. Missouri also plays later today as we try to learn more about their quarterback situation. And we have an exciting week 1 in college football. We'll get Bink's thoughts on it next. Keep it right here. So drive.
Hey, it's Lucas Ursig from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with CDOT on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
The world's coming to Kansas City in 2026. Is your parking lot ready? Faded lines, potholes, unsafe sidewalks. Gann Asphalt and Concrete is your winning team. One contractor. All things parking lot. Visit GannAsphalt.com today.
Hey, football fans, it's Brian Baldinger here with It's Your Journey, presented by Hyundai. While the league gets the rosters in order this week, we look forward to the first match of the season in Philadelphia. The reigning Super Bowl champs will host a hungry Dallas team that hopes to secure their star pass rusher before the season officially starts. Will Philadelphia or Dallas start their trophy hunt with a division win? It's Your Journey is brought to you by Hyundai. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event is going on now. Get deals so right, it almost feels wrong. Don't miss out. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
Missouri, get ready! DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State. Later this football season, you'll be able to bet same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more right here in Missouri. Whether you're backing Kansas City to dominate on Sundays or sweating your basketball picks, DraftKings Sportsbook brings everything you want to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. And when we go live in Missouri, you'll be betting from home with the top-rated sportsbook trusted by millions. Safe, secure, and ready to deliver the action like never before. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 965 now to gear up for launch in Missouri. Be the first in line for exclusive promos and can't-miss offers. That's code 965 in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements.
When we're young, we take things for granted, like getting out of bed or even walking downstairs. But as we age, our knees and back and hips may start to prevent us from doing those normal everyday activities. And in the back of our minds, we're thinking, hey, this pain's going to go away. But nothing changes. It's time to call and schedule that free consultation with the medical pros at QC Kinetics. There are thousands of patients who will tell you they wish they would have done it sooner. They turned around their lives with QC Kinetics regenerative treatments that work with your body to help restore and repair that damaged joint tissue. Natural cellular therapies. No scalpels, no pills, just long-term relief with no dreaded recovery. So bring your x-rays and MRIs to QC Kinetics for a free, no-pressure chat and through evaluation to see if you're a good candidate. Grab the phone right now and give them a call. Appointments available on Saturday, 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone.
Today we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission, to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/value and unlock 50% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to the end of summer sale at AutoZone. We're celebrating the end of long days and short nights with big deals for a short time, like car wash. Right now, you can save 20% on the Armor All Complete Car Wash Kit. Need new brakes? Duralast brake pads are free with the purchase of Duralast rotors. We've also got oil deals and more. We're ending the summer right with the end of summer sale at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
If Old Spice Deep Sea Super Hydration Body Wash were music, what would it sound like? Start with the deep sounds of Old Spice's ocean waves and kelp. Layer on the smooth, renewing moisture. You wouldn't hear any parabens or phthalates because Old Spice Deep Sea hasn't got any. But you would hear that vitamin B3 for healthier looking skin. So while your regular body wash sounds like this, Old Spice sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by New Century Ram Dodge Jeep in Paola. Why buy your next vehicle at New Century Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Paola? Simple. Honest guys that don't need to add big city overhead into the price. Search New Century Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram to see the complete inventory.
Well hit. Go ball. Gone! Royals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your TV home and streaming home of the Royals.
Beautiful.
And there are more ways to watch this season. Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Royals without blackouts.
Yes!
Or watch through a TV provider.
Right down the middle.
Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, Cox, and more.
Love it.
Learn more at royals.com/tune in.
They are relentless.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Conley Solutions. Still working is the two-car crash near Independence, 435 northbound, past 24 Highway in the right lane. And down south, the crash is there, 435 eastbound at Metcalf, right lane blocked. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center on Val 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Rashi Rice from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to the Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, there's so much to get your thoughts on. We got Jay Binkley joining us in studio. All right, Bink, let's start with this. Nebraska is in town today. I like this Nebraska team. The fact that they won 7 games and made a bowl game last year with a true freshman quarterback is a really, really impressive thing. Like, you cannot undersell that. Now, you're expecting him to grow. You're expecting him to develop. Last year, he threw 13 touchdown passes, 11 interceptions. You're expecting to get more production from him this season. I'm not ready to say that Nebraska is a team that has a chance to make the college football playoff, but I think they could be an 8 or 9 win team. I'm expecting a better version of the Cornhuskers than we got last year. I also really like their head coach.
Yeah, Matt Rule has made a difference there. Matt Rule, a couple hours out, back at noon or something, I-29 was packed with Nebraska fans coming down the highway. I mean, they've just been here. They're going to have a ton of fans. It's going to sell out Arrowhead Stadium, of course, and it's a good look for Arrowhead. I love these kickoff classic type games at Arrowhead. I mean, it's college